The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
20.
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thanksgiving week, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this massive Overreaction Monday, November 25th, 2024. This program starts right now. Football is amazing. There's so much happening both in the college football world and in the NFL. We'll be overreacting to all of it. There are certainly some teams that have separated themselves from the rest of the pack, and there are some teams that are still sitting in the middle of purgatory, and then there are some teams who are absolute crap. Now, some of these crap teams have actually played pretty well against some of the very good teams, leading us to believe, what does the future hold for anybody? We don't know. But today should be a fantastic one. Adam Schefter, who deleted a tweet this morning, will be joining us in 19 minutes. We will certainly be asking him some questions about that. And then Bill Belichick will join us in the second hour, as will A.J. Hawk. The boys are all here. The Talk to Table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn, Cowboys AP Tone, and 9-year NFL vet, Darius J. Butler's here.
Yes, sir.
Sweet look, D-Butch.
Yes, sir.
You know what else is sweet? We got a good look at, I'm going to say it. Now, there's going to be a little bit of debate here. I think the best team in the NFL is in Detroit Rock City. Certainly prime time last night, the Philadelphia Eagles and what they did to the Los Angeles Rams and what Saquon Barkley has been able to do since going to Coach Sirianni's squad over there, who is maybe owed an apology. I don't know. He's the lower third this week on some of the morning shows because of how he's done, and he's not happy with the boys not telling him quick enough to challenge it, and then also the refs not seeing the challenge flag. So Sirianni showing his motion, obviously in prime time, is going to be spectacular, but this Detroit Lions team, they're the real deal, brother. Yeah. And you start looking at the stats about how teams perform after playing the Detroit Lions. What do they say, Connor?
I believe they're defeated. I don't know if anyone's won after playing the Detroit Lions the next week.
They beat you up.
Yeah,
they beat you up. They pound you down. Now, they end up getting an 18-point win over the Indianapolis Colts, who still have everything in front of them, and who knows how the outcome of any game in the AFC hunt will turn out. But this Detroit Lions team, they're powerful, they're explosive, and they're moxies for real. And their fan base, they took over.
Shows up.
They show up.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about like Steelers fans going everywhere. You talk about Green Bay Packers fans going everywhere. You think about Philadelphia Eagles fans are a very passionate bunch. You talk about these cities that travel for their team in abundance. The Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
I'm so sorry, Bills Mafia. That's 100% on me. The Detroit Lions fans, early and often, Detroit Lions, let's go Lions chants, Jared Goff chants, and very loud. It's like the entire city recognizes what they have going on. In MCDC, I think we all forget, and I said this on NFL Game Day morning, he is massive.
Huge.
I mean, he is absolutely massive. So you got that actual thing walking out, okay, before the warm-ups. The pop for him whenever he walked out on the field from Lions fans was immense. And, like, you could just sense the confidence oozing from his body. And then he gave a speech after that particular game, and he just said, all right, that's 10. Let's move along, as if it was just status quo. I mean, this Lions team is the real deal. But the Philadelphia Eagles now, let's talk about it too much. What they did on primetime against the Los Angeles Rams, what Saquon Barkley has continued to do. Remember, we're a couple weeks removed from him jumping over somebody backwards. Okay, jumping over somebody backwards, and we think this guy's absurd. Now he goes for 255 rush yards.
Yeah.
This guy breaks some Philadelphia Eagles records that were set by LaShawn McCoy and all the greats of the past. This Philadelphia Eagles team might be the real deal, especially defense, huh, baby?
Definitely the real deal. Obviously, it always starts with the quarterback play. Jalen Hurts, after coming off that great year that he has, he's earned his money getting Saquon, but the defense, Fangio coming over there, started off struggling. struggling this early in this season. Even if some of us in here were saying, hey, it might be Fangio over after what happened in Miami last year. So then, you made some changes. Mitchell's been dynamic as a rookie corner on the outside. Put Cooper DeJean in the slot. He's been phenomenal at the nickel spot. You got your pieces on the back end, up front. The guys are dogs, linebackers. Everybody's on the same page defensive-wise. And then that run game, like Stoutland University, those big boys up front, the moves that they made moving on even after, the great Jason Kelce retired, they just pound you. Saquon hit you with one, hit you 2-yard gain, 3-yard gain here, there, 70. He's out the gate, first play of the second half, another 70-plus to end the game. Just absolutely dynamic in the run, in the pass game. It's hard to stop these boys. Still my Super Bowl pick.
It is, and listen, obviously, D-Bud has picked them up as a team that he has liked since they got Jalen Hurts, I believe. That is why he enjoys that team, or the fan base, whatever the case. Saquon going for 2 70-plus yard touchdowns is some historic shit. I mean, like every week he is doing something new that is breaking records. Here's some stats that we got from the ever-intelligent Hembo. By yards from scrimmage, Saquon has 3 of the top 6 performances in the NFL this season. 302 versus the Rams, obviously, total, plus receptions, plus his 2 of 55. 199 versus the Jaguars, 198 versus Commanders. Saquon leads the NFL in runs of 30-plus yards, 9 of them. 40-plus yards, he has 6 of them. 50-plus yard runs, 5 of them. And 60-plus yard runs, 2 70-plus yard touchdowns, 3 of them. During the 7-game win streak, the average score for these Philadelphia Eagles is 30-15. Average yardage, 403 to 223. Average explosives, 9. Which they're getting through the run game, not just the pass game. They're getting through the run game in this entire thing. And they've outgained their opponent by 100-plus yards in every game during their 7-game win streak. Damn. The last team to do that in a season was the 1949 Eagles.
Good team.
So I don't know how many people are alive. Obviously, they're watching it. That squad, they used to really. They would beat the hell out of you.
Crazy.
And those Eagles, Johns over there.
Oh, baby.
Oh, they used to love it. Well, now they're getting a chance to experience it again. This team, real deal. Stats obviously all line up in their favor, but watching them, explosive, fun. And seeing Saquon do his thing, I didn't know if it was ever going to happen. Yeah. We've seen glimpses of greatness out of Saquon over his first few years with the New York Giants. There'd be a primetime game, Saquon would go crazy. And then you'd look at the record of the team, and it'd be like they're 1-10 right now. It's like, damn. Okay, so he's probably gone from our television for a long, long time. Now he goes to a new home after everything that happened on Hard Knocks this offseason with the New York Giants, including this conversation right here where Joe Shane was talking to Mara. Everybody remembers when Mara says, I won't be able to sleep at night if he ends up with the Philadelphia Eagles. And that came shortly after Joe Shane said, just got a text from who? Didn't say. The Chicago Bears are running up the price, and the Philadelphia Eagles are out. Okay, we're watching this all unfold in real time. There was another conversation where Joe Shane had to explain his line of thinking about not wanting to keep Saquon Barkley because the owner, Mara, kind of looks like a genius in this entire thing.
Yeah.
Mara is very much against getting rid of Saquon Barkley. Here's another convo from the Hard Knocks, and then we'll see how it kind of pans out now that we're after week 12 of the NFL season.
Because we're not going to franchise him. Like, it doesn't make any sense to franchise him. So.
Unless you think you can trade him after doing that.
Right, and then could we get something and trade him? What are we really going to get? Unless it got down to like $7 million. And I don't want to offer that because I don't want to be like we disrespected him. There's 31 teams. It only takes one to, maybe be open to doing something. If it doesn't get to that, hey, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to let you hit free agency, find out your market, come back, and let us know if we can match it. If we can, we'll have those discussions.
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd still like to have him back. Until we can prove that we can have a decent offense without him.
Daniel's making a lot of money, and it's the fork. Like, we got to figure out is he the guy? So we got to protect him. We need to put resources there. Yeah. We have Waller, Belly, a healthy Wandell, Hyatt, Slayton. We'll have to find a running back, but upgrade the offensive line, give him a chance.
It would force us to take a running back in the high to mid.
Or we can still sign one. There's going to be guys, if we're patient, that ended up shaking out. Devin Singletary, who was in Houston, played for $275 this year. Joe Mixon may be a cap casualty, so now you got Saquon, Jacobs, Pollard, Eckler. That's 6 guys right there that are free agents. How many clubs really need running backs where they're going to invest resources in the position? Second week of free agency, I think there'll be some value guys, specifically at the running back position.
Yeah, I wouldn't commit to anything.
Let's not be guaranteeing any decisions have been made just yet here on the second day. Mara knew.
Guy knows ball.
Mara knew. He said, listen, remember Mara came out and said publicly that He's tired of having to answer questions from his billionaire friends about why his team sucks. That was numerous years ago. They ended up paying somebody an astronomical amount like a week afterwards, that being said. Now he's coming in there going, the only good thing that we've had on this team, by far our most popular guy, by far our biggest jersey seller, by far the only person that anybody really likes on our team is this one particular guy. And then you got Shane there going, don't worry about it.
Come on.
We got to protect this guy.
Kidding me?
We got to get every position but the one that's right next to the quarterback. We got to get every position but the one that can kind of maybe load the box to make your life a little bit easier on the outside. I mean, obviously, nobody's going to sign up for this offseason Hard Knocks ever again. No. Nobody is ever going to do it. But every single game that passes, this decision, and us obviously watching it, like everything he does, he is phenomenal. And I'm happy that we're getting a chance to experience it because the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they're in the division of the New York Giants, and they're the rival of the New York Giants, they're the perfect home for him. If you think about Sirianni, how he feels, about how they feel about the run game, about how their offensive line is set up, it was like a perfect match made in heaven almost. So I'm happy all those things were talked about, still befuddled by all of it.
Yeah, and then having a guy like Jalen Hurts, who you have to respect in the run game as well if you're the defense. So that takes one guy that, their eyes got to be on him and not on Saquon. And you got A.J. Brown, who you can't leave one-on-one on the outside. And I know it looks terrible for Shane, which it does. Look, in this situation, Saquon, Giants, like that pretty much was their offense. But you looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. But everybody kind of in the football world had started to just devalue that position overall. The running back position. So it was like, okay, well, you give the guy 12, you give him 14 million, 15 million. That wasn't really like now Giants fans for sure. But around the league, you look at a lot of these guys that had to move on and go to different teams to get their money. And you think about it, Derrick Henry,
boom,
he had to move
tonight.
on, playing phenomenal. Josh Jacobs, which obviously Aaron Jones, he goes to Minnesota. Pollard's having a decent year in Tennessee. Like, all these guys had to go somewhere else to get their money to almost prove their worth. Even Jahmyr Gibbs, when he was drafted where he was drafted, a lot of people talked about, the Lions don't know what they're doing now. He's one of the best backs in the league. So it's kind of running back the ball, playing physical football. It's kind of coming back. It's coming back around.
Is this why Jamar Chase and the wide receivers that didn't get paid are like, excuse me, we would like to be paid right now? Because there's a chance that the way football is cyclical, and I think we're in the middle of one of those coming back, and we've talked about that, I don't want to say ad nauseum, but ad nauseum. We've been talking about how everybody was getting small. Everybody was getting small because they had to go 53 and a third. You're hearing that number a lot because people are talking about the same thing. That's how wide a football field is. So defenses had to defend every single blade. And we're going to be fast. We're going to do this. Then all of a sudden, offensive coordinators, and you can go back and see who it was at the time. I think Baltimore's remained this way, especially as soon as they get Lamar Jackson. But even Andy Reid and even the other teams that you think are like wide open spread offenses, they're like, we can take advantage of what is currently on the defensive side. Lower scoring games at the beginning of the season because we were in the middle of just running the ball and maybe some bad quarterback play, but maybe it wasn't bad quarterback play. Maybe it was just like, hey, we're going to run the rock a lot more. And a lot of the guys are in brand new homes. So I think that running back market is about to go. Do we remember what Saquon, I know it was 13, about 13 a year with Philly.
13-3.
How many years was it?
3 years, 39, I thought it was.
3-year deal? Okay.
Yeah,
well, man, he's certainly been worth the value.
What was it last week? We put it up. It was like was it Derrick Henry?
107th or something.
Yeah, like 100. So it's obviously the quarterbacks, you put them in their own scale, but then even, the receivers are getting, damn near 3X that. CeeDee Lamb just signed for $35 million a year.
I think that's
Justin Jefferson, he's, 30-something, and then you looked how Minnesota had to win this past week. Hey, we can't go to Jefferson. We threw 3 interceptions, forcing it to him. Now everybody else kind of around him eats. So it's still a passing league. I think you still need a quarterback to go down and convert a 2-minute drive to win a game, to win a Super Bowl. But at the same time, when you can lean on teams like the Lions do second half, like the Ravens do when they're playing well, and like the Eagles do, where they just keep pounding, you finally find the crease, just put a team away. That's the worst for a defense.
That's playoff football.
That's playoff football.
That is what playoff football
this time of year.
Which is why I think we can start to separate who and who at this exact moment, especially the performances week after week. Teams are getting very consistent too. I brought up the Lions. They've been just pounding folks.
Yeah.
I mean, just pounding.
Killing them.
That's why, whenever I say Lions by 20, it's because, like, the Lions have that NFC North, I mean, they're 10-1. They're in the lead. There's 9-2 right behind them. There's 8. I mean, it is the NFC North is absolutely stacked with great teams, and they're all kind of chasing each other. Like, that's why I think the Lions team was very motivated coming in against us. But how about the Philadelphia Eagles? What they did? I mean, it's just like these teams that are at the top, they don't mind showcasing that a little bit.
Got to do it.
Which leads me to the Kansas City Chiefs. This Kansas City Chiefs team, man. Now, Carolina Panthers, hey.
That was a battle.
Wow.
What?
What a show.
Okay. Bryce Young gets pulled from the lineup. Okay. You're going to be benched for a little bit. Then you're going to go back in there, and then you guys are going to look completely differently. I think that was a nice sense of relief for Bryce Young. Getting a chance to watch a little bit, learn a little bit, see what the offense is supposed to be, because this is his first year in Canales' offense as well. So the way they've played, okay, Carolina Panthers. And we were obviously one of the main ones to dump on them. Because we like to talk about every team in the NFL. And whenever there's 20 people at the games and everything that's happening is happening, it's hard not to make fun of. But now that the Carolina Panthers don't, a lot of hope going into this offseason.
For sure.
A lot of, and now, granted, we still got 6 weeks left of the season and everything like that, but there is a lot of hope for the future, I think, down there, when in the past there wasn't. Now, on the flip side, this Kansas City Chiefs team, they are a cardiac team. Yeah. I mean, everything's going to end up close. They had a good lead at halftime, I think 2 scores. They inevitably come crawling all the way back. Then they have to hit a field goal with Spencer Schrader to win this thing after Patrick Mahomes scoots for 34 yards, where he puts it on his back and says, listen, I got speed, I got athleticism. Nobody talks about, I'm getting at and I'm getting owned. 34-yard scamper by Patrick Mahomes, who runs like a, what did Travis Kelce say on New Heights podcast? I think he said a llama or an emu or something. Yeah. I forget what he said.
An ostrich, I think.
An ostrich, you get it. I think they would all run in the same way. Who cares? 34 yards, puts him in field goal range, and then as time expires, Spencer Schrader, new to the team, hits a 31-yarder in place of Harrison Butker, and the Kansas City Chiefs bounce back after a loss, and now they're 10-1. Some of the stats that Hembo sent over, though, are pretty magical to see, that the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. Yeah, but they shouldn't be winning. Well, that's what all these stats say. The Chiefs have spent less time with a double-digit lead this season than obviously Panthers, Bears, Bengals, Saints, and 16 other teams. The Chiefs this season are 29th in explosive plays. That's not what you think. No. That's not what you think at all, especially with, Xavier Worthy was joining that team. They're going to get crazy. Travis Kelce's doing his thing. Instead, this great guy's going back-to-back weeks with 2 touchdowns all over the yard. Absolute stud. And then they're 23rd in turnover margin, 22nd in sack margin. Over the last 5-10 seasons, I still don't know what that stat means, but we put it up there because that's what Hembo texted over. 54% of playoff games were decided by 1 score. It is a skill to be able to win in the end, and that's that Patrick Mahomes difference. That's what, like Patrick Mahomes running for that 34 yards, even if he didn't run for it, we were assuming he was going to get
for sure.
When he got the ball with 113 left,
we all assumed this is what was going to take place, and it did. Whenever Hembo says winning 1-score games is a skill, I think so too. I think that is a very real thing. What does that mean, you think? What in your mind? Doing the right things?
It's doing the right thing, attention to detail, obviously having your team prepare all 3 phases, because you never know, who's going to make that play. The play don't care who make it. Could be a blocked field goal, could be an interception, could be a 40-yard scamper, whatever it is, but just being prepared in those moments. And most of these games, week in and week out, especially the playoff games, are going to come down to a 2-minute drive. Somebody having to drive the ball, get a field goal, score a touchdown, or obviously on the other side of that, getting a stop. Sometimes it comes down to field position, a big return in the game. So you never know what it is. So just having your team prepared to get these wins. And they're 10-1 right now, and they're looking around each other when they show up to work like, look, we're not playing, everybody wants more out of each other. Everybody's still accountable to that standard that they have, but I think they're still in prime position for this 3-peat, even with what all the other great teams are doing right now.
I mean, their stats are horrendous, which means they can only get better to your point, which is wild because they're 10-1 and probably nowhere near. They haven't been happy yet.
No rat poison.
Haven't seen, not a single,
no rat poison.
Not a single drop of rat poison anywhere over there.
Well, and we were just talking about this before the show. Like, it's different than, especially now with college football, with everything's going on. Like, in the NFL, winning is all that matters. Like, all the ancillary bullshit that people say about, well, they don't look good, they're not the skill points or whatever. Like, you don't have any of that. The eye test, none of that stuff matters. They win, and obviously he was hurt, but I think when you couple Mahomes with these teams that have these kickers who, when they get the ball with 1:13 left and they only need 30 yards or whatever, you just assume hey, they get in within 55 yards, Butker is going to make the field goal. Mahomes isn't going to turn it over. They just need to play it smart a little bit. And for whatever reason, every time he gets the ball and it's tied or they're down, we know that they're going to go score and win. It is what it is.
It kind of is cool to feel like a fortune teller, though, for a little bit.
Yeah.
I've seen this song and dance so many times before. And to your point about Harrison Butker making those kicks, Spencer Schrader, he could have stayed with the Jets.
Yeah, he could have.
Why would you, though? Would have been
cool. Why would you, though?
You got come play a couple games with the Chiefs, get some good tape, be on primetime television. Everybody's going to watch it. And if they win in the end, they will definitely give you a Super Bowl championship.
Or
wait a minute.
Think about this. You don't have to move out of New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other than that,
not bad.
Nah, all right.
Go to Broadway still.
Remember they made that a big story?
Oh, yeah.
He chose not to stay on the New York Jets roster to go take this job with the Chiefs. He could have stayed with the Jets. Like, no shit. What are we talking about? And then for him to get that opportunity and make those kicks, because, you know, hey, you can get on a carousel quick. The Colts, not the Colts, the Pittsburgh Steelers, whenever old Buddy got hurt and before they found Boswell.
Sean Sweezum
got hurt. They went on a kick. They were a good team that was supposed to go on a run. They lose their kicker in the Pro Bowl game, or the Hall of Fame game.
Yes.
He makes a tackle in the Hall of Fame game, tears something, he's out.
Jeez.
They're supposed to win a Super Bowl. They're supposed to go on a run. They go through like 3 kickers, I think, all in like 2-game periods, because they can't make a kick until Boswell shows up. This dude out of Rice. And then that's all she wrote in there. Yeah. But the other side, whenever your kicker goes down, is not always a guarantee. And the fact that Schrader steps up and hits him a game winner, you know, that's just the Chiefs being the Chiefs.
Yep, right.
Like, does that happen with any other team? Who knows? But he goes to the Chiefs, and of course, I'm going to put this thing right. Yeah, first going to do that.
Well, and we're talking about running the football too. Like, wait till Pacheco gets back. Yeah. You know, and you go back to their run last year. Like, they won the Super Bowl last year running the football and playing defense. And once Pacheco gets back this year, you know, Ty mentioned it. It doesn't matter in the end. When we get to the playoffs, when, you know, they're competing for another Super Bowl, we're not going to look back and be like, yeah, but they almost lost to the Panthers in Week 12. Like, no one gives a shit about any of that. So when Pacheco's there, when Bucker gets healthy, like, they're 10-1 and they're not a complete football team right now. And Kareem Hunt's been great for sure, but we know how Pacheco runs. He puts his knees in people's chin. So when that
feet through
the ground.
Through the ground.
Runs was them last year though too. Like this was the whole conversation last year, except for they weren't 10-1. They had
lost it.
They had some losses. They're playing the exact same one. They're just winning those close games that you talked about. And yeah, it is a skill, because there was like a graphic a couple weeks ago. I can't remember who it was from. But if the one-score games went a different way, they would have been in last. And the Jags and the Bengals would have been leading the AFC.
This is like how I talk about the year we won 2-14 or whatever. There's like 9 games where it was one-score games. If a ball just so happens, which could happen in football, gets knocked out and just bounces up to somebody and they return to the house, we win the game. Now imagine we win 2 of those games that we ended up not winning. All of a sudden we don't have Andrew Luck.
Sure.
All of a sudden, you know, that's why these close games, who wins, who doesn't, it's like there's billions of dollars that play for every single organization, and that's why you got 2-story apartments in the stadium over there for ownership with the Chiefs. You know, it is a wild time.
To that point, I saw a lot of people saying, talking about Tommy DeVito, saying, "Hey, why couldn't you suck this bad last year? Maybe we wouldn't be in this situation."
Tommy DeVito obviously had to face a scorching hot Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, of course.
Who gets a massive win and does a little, hey, grazie, how we doing? You like me now? And, you know, I know there's some, I think there was an Italian, it did look like he was potentially doing it as a middle finger. I don't know how many grazie. I don't know how much of that Baker's doing on a regular basis. He might have got jacked up in the moment. Did you see the interaction he had with a reporter who I would assume is potentially an Italian person? Who told you to do this whole thing? He said it was just spontaneous. And then he was asked, are you Italian, sir? You think you can?
Question.
And he said, I haven't done my 23andMe yet. Great answer. I mean, Baker was in there, and then he kind of gets out of there. He said it was a tribute to Tommy DeVito, but not only Tommy Cutlets. He said all Italian people. Sure. He just didn't get that out of there. And then Alex Anzalone, the Detroit Lions, goes, a little too aggressive for my liking. Huh? How you doing? Huh? Let's keep it moving out here. Yeah, it is a fantastic thing. The Italian people are the greatest. Never forget it. Never forget it. That's why Tommy Cutlets is such a fantastic story. And then, obviously, we have to hit the NFC North being as good as it is, the final 2 teams. What Green Bay Packers did to San Francisco 49ers. Congratulations. That had to feel that had to feel so good, especially after everything, you know.
Yeah, it seemed like they exercised, you know, a demon that they haven't been able to get over. Now, granted, you know, you're missing Purdy and Bosa and Trent Williams. Like, that makes a big difference. But that's what you should do if they're missing those 3 guys. You should just beat the shit out of them. And the running back point, like, Jordan Love is making the most, you know, per year of any quarterback. But, like, this is a run-first football team. Like, their identity is because the Lions are in the division. It's like, hey, they have to play physical. Josh Jacobs has been unbelievable. And yesterday, you know, they had gone 2 weeks without forcing any turnovers. Brandon Allen had no chance. They started to get after him a little bit, especially after the Preston Smith trade. A lot of people thought, hey, Packers, they're in playoff position here, but they're sellers at the deadline. A couple of those young guys like Lucas Van Ness, who was a first-round pick, like he made a big impact. So Jordan Love didn't throw a interception yesterday, which was massive. It's like I think he broke his 11-game streak of having a turnover. So, did exactly what they had to do. I don't know if it's really as eye-opening as like 38-10 because it wasn't a fully healthy 49ers team, but really at this point they just need to keep pace in the division.
I love this guy.
He's the best.
I love Josh Jacobs. And obviously if you look up his story, I think at one point in his story he was homeless. I think in high school he was homeless and everything like that. And like the amount of work that he put in, and then he goes to Bama, crushes his shit. Then he goes to the Raiders. Remember how that all got hit? He was playing in a Hall of Fame game.
Got like 30 carries.
He was playing in a Hall of Fame game at one point while leading the league in rushing the year before. It's like the way this dude has his football life has been is a movie waiting to happen. And then whenever you guys get rid of Aaron Jones, everybody's like, oh, they don't care about a running back. You bring in the guy who led the NFL in rushing, and Josh Jacobs, and he loves it there. It seems like everybody loves him. Obviously, LaFleur utilizes the shit out of him. And I appreciated the fact that after the game, whenever he was asked about being mic'd up, he said, that's why I'm never mic'd up, because I guess he talks real shit. I love everything about this, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I love everything about it, and the Packers are a real deal. They really are. Is their defense good enough to make a full run? We don't know. They won't know until they get to the playoffs. But beating the Niners like this without Brock Purdy, that feels real.
Oh, does it?
I'd say. He's pretty good.
Anyone could play quarterback in that offense.
That feels real, though. Like there was one time yesterday Brandon Allen did something. He reached up and grabbed his, and I just immediately was like, okay, that doesn't look that bad. I think it's not. But that is that Niners team is in bigger trouble, I think, than I would have ever thought for them to be.
It was just coming in. Everybody just assumed, when they get healthy, it'll be the same old Niners. They'll be in it at the end. They'll contend. And then you see what's going on in the NFC West. Nobody's really, I know Seattle won and kind of took the lead of the division. But, when your quarterback's banged up, when your star players, Deebo Samuel hasn't been Deebo Samuel. You get Christian McCaffrey in there late. He's kind of coming along at the middle of the season. The middle of the season, this is the point where you want to kind of be hitting your stride and playing your best football. And then what's going on in the NFC, I think they're kind of out of it. Now, you start talking about Super Bowl windows. I still think Shanahan's still a good coach. I think Purdy, if healthy, still one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Kittle, we like Kittle.
At this point in the season, you're going to have to play some games and win some games with some guys banged up. I think Keyshawn Nixon maybe came out after the game was like, I don't care they didn't have the guy. We won 3 games without a starting quarterback. It kind of is what it is. So it's definitely no excuses, no pity party. But, I think big worries for San Fran, and then going forward with their future, obviously with the big contracts and then having to pay Brock Purdy, we all assume this offseason.
Yeah, I love that Niners team. I really do. I love everything about it.
It's a shame.
And it's just like, for whatever reason, it's not the same this year as it has been in the past. You talk about the injuries. They got a lot of guys on the field that we see. Ayuk was returning kicks. Debo was returning kicks yesterday. It's like they're doing more jobs, and he took one all the way. It's wild. Joining us now is a man who will know all the ins and outs about every situation in the NFL, but also knows that the final score of that game was not 34-27.
No, it wasn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, the acting manager of O's The Mentalists and senior insider for the NFL at ESPN, Adam Schefter. Shefty?
I tried to tell O's that Brock Purdy was going to be out that week and that it wasn't going to be 34-27. It was going to be much more lopsided than that. He didn't want to listen. He wanted to believe his own mental powers rather than me. But I had insiders back then this summer telling me that game was going to be as one-sided as it was there, Pat.
Okay, I'm sure you did, Shefty. You two working together on the script. Yeah, obviously understanding it. How else would he be able to guess the top 10 picks of the NFL draft and in the same exact trick say, hey, Ty, what game are you thinking? He predicted what game you were thinking.
Correct.
Packers, Niners. And then he predicted what score you thought it was going to be.
Yes.
And then he told you would be 1 point off. You're 1 point off. You're going to be close or whatever. So as that game starts out, it's like a lot of points are being scored. I'm like, holy shit.
Here we go.
I'm like, are we live betting this thing right now that O's is right? And then it just continues to go one way and the other side stays. He never said which time they play, though. He was saying they're going to meet again. So maybe the Niners aren't dead. But let's talk about the 49ers. What is the story over there? I know you have connections with everybody in the league, but the Niners are certainly one. They look different this year. Not saying that the Packers aren't good. Packers are a great football team. We certainly believe that. But that was ugly without Purdy. When's Purdy back? What's the conversation about the Niners' future right now?
The whole year to me, has felt off with them. And it wasn't like it just happened late, but there have been a series of incidents that they've had to overcome throughout where it just felt like it was never going to be their year. That's how I felt all along. Now, you keep waiting. You keep waiting to see if at some point with the talent that they do have, if they can find a way to turn it around. That's the interesting part of all this, but it hasn't happened yet. And it's getting late. And you look at the division and the standings, they are one game back. Now, they haven't won a game in their division, so that's going to be a problem. But they are only one game back of Seattle. So, again, can they turn it on here and find a way to win? They haven't played well enough to be able to do that so far. They've had too many injuries to be able to do that so far. You talk about yesterday and going into Green Bay with Brandon Allen at quarterback. Here's the schedule. Tough game Sunday night. Week 14, the Bears.
Tough team.
At home. Yeah. 15, home Rams. At Miami. Detroit. Good luck there. Maybe the Lions have everything wrapped up. At Arizona.
2 weeks.
Again, the Niners, they just have not played consistent enough football. They have not played good enough football to make you think right now that they can go and turn it around. Now, again, maybe the switch will go on and they'll show everybody that they are as good as they were last year. The problem is, like when they go into that game yesterday, the defensive line that they lined up against the Packers in the NFC divisional playoff game 10 months ago was entirely different. This defense this year has been different. They haven't gotten the pressure that they've needed. They haven't gotten the turnovers that they've needed. They haven't come through with the big plays that they've needed. And when you introduce all the other injuries that have come along, you're missing George Kittle 1 week. You're missing Brandon Ayuk all year. Christian McCaffrey's not back till later. Brock Purdy's out yesterday. You know, in this margin of error is so small that it just feels like all the goodwill they've had in recent years has run out this year. Just the way that it's felt. Now, again, they've got 6 or so games to turn it around. We'll see if they can do it. And it's getting late early there.
Okay, so you talk about all the good football god juju going towards the team and then feeling like it's not at a place. We had a similar feeling about the Vikings a couple of years back, where the one season they were like 11-0 in one-score games, and then the next season, Kirk Cousins last year, they were like 0-8 in one-score games. It's like, damn, feels like the football gods blessed them all last year and not so much this year. Well, the Minnesota Vikings are all the way back. They're 8-3 or 9-2, whatever they are. I think 8-2, 9-2. 9-2 now at this point after the big win yesterday over the Chicago Bears. Congrats to the Vikings. We love Kevin O'Connell. He is absolutely fantastic. And Sam Darnold also just absolutely dealing when a lot of people are saying a lot of things about him on the internet. But let's go to the other side against with the Chicago Bears. They look good. Like Caleb Williams, I think, is developing. I think a lot of people would say that team looks good. Should have beat the Vikings yesterday. The Vikings are going to be in the entire thing, or could have beat the Vikings yesterday. The Vikings could be in the end. I seen some Chicago Bears fans' reactions this morning, and there's some stats that have come out. I guess Eberflus is terrible in one-score games. Like, just they lose those one-score games when other teams win. What is the future in Chicago? Shane Waldron leaves. This guy, Thomas Brown, comes in. Caleb looks much, much better. Eberflus' squad losing these close games, heartbreaking games. What does the future look like at this point in Chicago from what you're hearing?
Well, they're going to have to turn things around here down the stretch where they're 4-7 right now. That's not the kind of season that I think people in Chicago wanted. So they've got, 6 games here to go. And there's so much that's decided in this stretch run for so many franchises, right? Like, again, people brought up the Giants and the owner coming out and saying, everybody's safe. But there's a lot of football left that has to be played. And here, similar in Chicago, Caleb Williams has looked better the last 2 weeks. They've gotten the play calls in under offensive coordinator Thomas Brown faster. He's gotten the ball out of his hands quicker. Last week, it was 2.4 seconds from the time that he took the snap till he delivered the football. And the offense has just looked improved. If they can build upon that, then that's great. But right now, they're not winning football games. And the season seems to have slipped away once they lost in Washington on that Hail Mary play. You think about what one play has meant to this team's season. So if they're not winning, obviously, the franchise will have decisions to make at the end of the year. And everybody knows that'll involve the coaching staff. And we'll see if this team can rally down the stretch and save jobs or not.
Hey, maybe I like the way Cairo hit that thing, too, sending it into overtime. They make an onside kick as well. Good for them. They were down, what was it, 27-16?
It was 27-10.
27-16, I think, with 30 seconds left. I think that is when they end up scoring their 22 seconds onside kick. A little chopper, a little hesitant, hit off a shin, and then go ahead and pick that up. And then Caleb throws a strike, absolute strike over the middle. I mean, this is like good resiliency. This is good, like, fighting until the end. This is good execution, especially with what they had to do time-wise. And then as clock expires, Cairo Santos hits a little swerve ball around the block, send that thing into overtime, and then Sam Darnold goes crazy and does his thing. Allegedly, acting chairman of the Bears, George McCaskey, was walking around tailgates yesterday. Who knows what he was saying, how he was saying it, but he was shaking hands, kissing babies. Zito in the back said that his friends told him that he was apologizing to fans, walking around. That's what Zito's friends said. We don't know how intoxicated or how real that is.
A lot of fire fluces as well, and then just I know, stuff like that.
Okay, well, so he's going out into a mosh pit out there. To get through there, you got to do what you got to do, but he wanted to go see these Bears fans and let them know we're trying. Turn this thing around. We'll see what the future holds there. Conman has a question for you, Schefty.
Yeah, Schefty, with the coaches kind of on the block here, I know last week you said, 7 to 10 maybe could be removed next year. But when we're talking about some teams that, with their first year of these new head coaches, like the Raiders and the Patriots, are teams like that, are those guys safe no matter what? Because obviously yesterday, as a New England Patriots fan, was one of the most pitiful displays of football I've ever seen. And then, of course, with the Raiders, they also are not having a great year right now.
I always say nobody's safe. That's the way I operate. The owners are making so much money, they could do whatever they want. Now, I could say this, and it's a perfect example, right? There were some people talking about New England, and then I spoke to some more people at the end of the week, and they're like, no. Robert Kraft is not doing anything. He's keeping Gerard Mayo. He's keeping Gerard Mayo. Okay, great. Now, again, I think that's his plan. He's keeping Gerard Mayo. And then you go and you play a game like that against Miami, and you wonder, does something like that cause the owner to rethink anything? One game, probably not. What if this team plays like that continuously down the stretch? What does Robert Kraft then do? And that's why these last 6 weeks, what gets interesting to me is owners may have plans not to do anything, not want to do anything, and then inevitably, there are some teams that limp to the finish line. The fans aren't showing up. The stadiums are empty. The fans who are there are booing and angry. And so these last 6-7 weeks, no matter what somebody thinks today, on Monday, November 25th, these last 6 weeks go a long way towards determining what happens with some of these franchises at the end of the season and what the owners ultimately decide to do.
You said you heard from, your source that Kraft said at the end of the week, he's not doing anything. Kraft's not going to do anything with Coach Mayo. He's going to be patient. And then, man, what did you see on TV?
Yeah, after the Christian Gonzalez touchdown, there's a scoop and score. And Bob Kraft and Jonathan Kraft, I don't know what they're talking about, but that wasn't like a, hey, we just scored conversation. They're clearly very, very pissed off. And then, Schefty, when the coach comes out and says something like he does after the game where, during the game, once they step on the field, like, I can't really do anything for him. Obviously, I don't know shit about, coaching and anything like that. But is that anything that would be kind of considered as, well, what the hell do you mean from an owner's standpoint when you hear a coach say something like that?
Well, I think there are instances in these final games that help sway an owner's mind one way or another. And again, they may think they're not doing anything, and that is the plan. But plans change over time. And it's up to those teams, these staffs, these players, to do enough to make sure that those plans don't change. Now, again, that was a bad loss yesterday in Miami. They looked rather listless and uninspired. And now we'll see how the Patriots play down the stretch and whether Robert Kraft would change his thinking in any kind of way.
Patriots got a Colts team coming off the Detroit Lions. Look out.
Super Bowl.
Look out. Okay, whenever it comes to hiring, all this stuff, I think we knew that maybe there was independent parties that get brought in, but we learned something new today. D. Butch, through your Twitter account.
Yeah, through your tweet, we saw that the 33rd team will now be assisting the Jets to find their new leadership. I don't know why they didn't just use your link with the top 5 GM candidates for them right there, but you have any more details on this for us, Schefty?
Yeah, and how do digital media companies say, you know what? Yeah, We'll take a couple million to help you advise.
Sure.
On it. And I would like to, at this moment, Schefter, I don't know if you want to put this tweet out.
Yeah, you should.
Our show and all the people that work on it, whether it's, Connor would love to give some insight.
Absolutely.
But D-Butch, AQ, Chuck Pagano, Bill Belichick, he kind of works for like everybody's team, but we get Lombo. We would like to offer up our consultation as well to any teams that are looking to make some hires. But go on with the 33rd team and how this kind of ties together.
Well, what I would say there is there was a link that they put out to their GM candidates. Now, as it was told to me, Mike Tannenbaum, Rick Spielman didn't do that list. It was put out before they were hired, so it wouldn't be the official list of the firm that they put out there. So, the Jets are going to pay for what they get. They asked for my password to the 33rd team. I wouldn't give it to them.
Smart.
I thought that would save them some money, right?
Yeah.
But they can go about their GM candidates in a different way. And Mike Tannenbaum is obviously experienced in this area. Rick Spielman is experienced in this area. Rick helped the Commanders launch their search that resulted in them hiring Adam Peters at GM and Dan Quinn at head coach. So now they'll be involved with the 33rd team. And the Jets really hired the 33rd team. They didn't hire Mike and Rick for their data and analysis. And yes, they could have come to the Pat McAfee show and leaned on you guys.
Not them. We're just saying anybody else that wants to do it. We are open to the conversation. We'll do a bunch. We'll do a bunch of Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
We'd love to do. We'll meet.
Pat,
Are you 34th?
I'm willing to even join forces with you, and together we could come up with a think tank. And I guarantee you that we would have some good, juicy, successful ideas that could be hatched.
1,000,000%. Now we need O's to get back to swinging a hot bat.
Yeah,
because we would bring him in. We would bring him into this entire thing as well. But we're just saying, hey, if we're hiring digital media companies to do shit in the NFL, we'd love to put our names into that.
Yeah, got 5 fantasy football teams.
How'd we do this weekend?
Fantastic. We beat Saquon.
Saquon. Saquon was on the other team. We beat him, Schefty. How do you feel about that?
Who was on your team that beat Saquon?
To be clear, I have no idea who's on this team. Just
owner.
I'm owner.
Yeah.
I'm a hands-off.
Stay out of
it. I'm a hands-off. I'm like Shad Khan down here.
Yep.
I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm going to stay out of it. My son now, he's chief football strategist. He's going to stick around and do his thing. I'm hands-off. Who is on our team that had a massive day?
Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton was the guy.
Yeah, Texans defense. Anytime someone's playing Tennessee, got to go with that defense. Keenan Allen showed up with Caleb
big
Williams.
touchdown late there.
Huge touchdown late. And a couple other guys, CJ Stroud came through, and Houston Texans defense, because of the rules of this league, got 17 extra points because of their return yards. And I think that's Mickey Mouse, but it worked out for us.
Hey, it's Commissioner Reed football, baby.
Yeah, bingo.
That's how that goes. But yeah, we've been up against some wagons, but if they need any of our help, how to beat Saquon, which might be impossible.
How about that?
We were able to do it.
We can do it. No big deal.
Ty has a question for you, Schefty.
Yeah, Schefty, if he isn't claimed, Dan Jones is supposed to clear waivers at 4 p.m. today, and all of a sudden there's kind of a firestorm. Teams just lining up. Hey, they want to sign him. Who are you hearing? Who's going to end up signing Daniel Jones, and is it going to happen today?
Well, you have to understand what this is about. And he goes through waivers. I would expect that he clears waivers at 4 o'clock. And anybody that signs him gets a former starting quarterback for the rest of the year for basically $375,000. And not only do they have to pay him $375,000 for a good backup, like you just compare Daniel Jones to the backup quarterback on a lot of these teams and say, who would you rather have? But then if he goes and leaves this offseason and signs with another team, even for backup quarterback money, $7-8 million a year, the Ravens then would get a compensatory draft pick, or the Vikings, or whoever signs him, right? So the upside in signing this guy is you get him as a backup and you get a compensatory draft pick for $375,000. So why would every team not be lining up? Now, I think Daniel Jones, I believe he's going to be a little bit selective and prefer to go to a playoff team like Baltimore, like Minnesota. I think those two teams will figure prominently here. He doesn't want to go from the Giants to the Raiders, despite the fact that the Raiders lost Gardner Minshew. That I'd be surprised in the end if that's what he winds up doing. I think he's going to want to go to a environment that is a stable organization, a successful organization, playing meaningful games. So he'll clear, or at least we expect him to clear waivers at 4 o'clock today. And then he'll get to choose his own home, which I would imagine will happen sooner rather than later. Ravens play on Monday Night Football tonight. We'll see if they turn out to be the team. I just think that they'll be in the thick of this thing. And I think there are other playoff teams as well that'll be in the thick. Like if you were Daniel Jones, why would you not want to go play for Kevin O'Connell or John Harbaugh or some of these teams out there having the types of seasons that they are? So that's what I think he'll wind up doing.
I would like to see Daniel Jones in that Baltimore Ravens locker room.
Oh, yeah.
Just behind the scenes, I would like to see everything about that. No matter where he goes, obviously, we assume he's going to do very well, just like Saquon Barkley has done since leaving that building that we got to watch the decision get made in the Hard Knocks offseason, which leads to AP Tone's question for you, Schefter.
Yeah, talk about that, Shefty. Just that offseason Hard Knocks now rolling into Daniel Jones being cut, what Saquon Barkley is doing. We watched those clips and how much Mara loved Barkley and talking to Joe Shane, like, I'm not going to be able to sleep if Saquon goes to the Eagles. Does all of this lead to a hot seat for Joe Shane because of, what has happened and what has played out and what we saw Mara say about all of it?
Well, look, he has stood behind his GM and owner, and he has said that he does not plan to make changes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's his plan. That's what he wants to do. Except they are 0-6 at home right now. You wonder if that's going to factor in. You wonder if there'll be more losing down the stretch that factors in. You got Daniel Jones on the street. You got Saquon Barkley setting Eagles franchise single-game records for most rushing yards and most scrimmage yards. You got Xavier McKinney in Green Bay, tied for the league lead in interceptions right now.
Yep.
So this is something that they have to decide. Again, they have been steadfast in saying we're standing behind our people. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'm just saying,
so what? So what? The offensive player of the year could have been here, and also the defensive player of the year
Not a big deal.
could have been here, and we're here. And the guy that we decided to keep instead of these guys, he's not here either. All
Just
three.
cut his ass.
Okay, so what? I mean, that is, if you're Joe Shane, you're looking in the mirror going, I got no shot.
I screwed up.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know. Yeah.
What the hell?
All these decisions have to be made, obviously, and it's easy.
Here's the other thing about it. Like, they're on Hard Knocks in the offseason.
Oh, my God. The worst.
Is that so to survive?
You could just see, I'm like, oh, my
That
God.
show?
We're see all
like that
these
version of the
clips.
show.
There's no way that show is, nobody's, maybe ownership that doesn't know what this show was like this past year, but there's no way anybody signs up for that, right? No way.
You know what? Here's how I would sign up for that. If Patrick Mahomes were my quarterback, if Lamar Jackson were my quarterback, if I had a long-standing, successful organization.
But then you're not.
With a history.
You're not going to let cameras in on the way you make decisions then if you're actually good. Like that's this is just like Dallas Cowboys giving tours of the practice facility. Like nobody that wins championships actually does that. That's not
Bean's got enough moxie
but
to
again,
let him in Buffalo.
When the Giants do this, like, so we have the owner admitting that he doesn't want to see them lose Saquon Barkley, and he's going to lose sleep if he goes to the Eagles. Oh, boy. Okay, well, that happens. We have them talking about Jaden Daniels trying to go up to get him while they have a starting quarterback because they love Jaden Daniels. And you know what? They were right about Jaden Daniels. He's really good. They were right about that. But they were worried about their quarterback. They openly said it. And guess what? He's not on the roster anymore. Like, all these things played out in real life. Listen, I love access, and I'm all for seeing what teams do. But
agreed.
To put that on in the offseason, if you're a team that has some major issues and question marks, that's ballsy.
Yeah, if you're an owner and you hate your GM and you've been looking for a reason, sign him up.
Yeah, good way. We'll see him in Vegas.
Yeah, because we would normally not know all these conversations happen. We would not have a clue.
Well, you would think they happen, but you just don't know that they happened.
Yeah, you're right. And while we're watching it, we're like, wait, we have better conversations in the think tank, I think, than they're actually having.
What the hell?
About which led even more to like, is this how it is everywhere, or just this one place that doesn't win? It was a phenomenal. Hard Knocks NFL Film should win an award for that.
Yes,
they did a great job. They do a great job. The issue is not with them.
Some of it, yeah. Some of their stuff's really good. The Hard Knocks, that offseason one was a home run.
Yeah.
That was an absolute home run.
Needed again.
But Need it.
Yeah, I know nobody wants
Not
to
on my
sign up
team.
for need it.
Not
But-
on my.
but that's
Well,
what they
I
should-
don't have one.
Like it's going to be the Raiders. I can almost guarantee it. Like Mark Davis just following him to PF Chang's, doing whatever the hell he does, wearing that backpack, playing Game Boy in his office, and then they actually do. They're in a position to draft a quarterback in like the top 5. So there's a little juice there.
Probably Shador.
Yeah, exactly.
Who took a nasty hit.
Yeah.
Pop right back up, didn't miss a play.
Dog.
Son of a
Dog.
bitch.
Absolute dog. Congrats. Look at this. Do you see this from this weekend?
Oh,
Damn, man.
Fortunately, his leg was up.
Yeah.
His leg was
Thank God.
planted. Oh, boy.
Yeah, either
Oh,
one of
boy.
them. If either one of his legs were planted, we're talking bad news.
No
But,
penalty.
yeah, no penalty called. Obviously, one of his offensive linemen comes to fight, which I appreciate. A couple more jump in there, but he didn't miss a play.
No.
Dog.
Absolute dog. Yeah, especially with how much money I assume he's already made in his life, how much money he comes from, to just bounce right back up and have that toughness. What a dog. They can't be losing that game, though, against Kansas. Kansas are red hot. College football was fucking bananas on Saturday. So many wild outcomes, throwing this college football playoff into a full chaos, absolute chaos about everything that kind of happened around the country. Congrats to Oklahoma on Senior Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Getting a big win against Alabama. Obviously, Auburn with what they did to Texas A&M. Kansas over Colorado is a massive ordeal. And then Arizona State. I mean, that situation
Yeah, that was wild.
is absolutely insane. College ball upside down on
And
Saturday.
don't forget, Schefter paid Bryce Underwood or whatever $10 million.
Oh, yeah. And then Juju Lewis, the top two. Yeah, college football had a hell of a week, wild week. Can't wait for tomorrow night with those rankings. Speaking of tomorrow night, let's talk about tonight. Big one, hardball. Hardball,
Nice.
I believe,
Yep.
is what they're titling it. Ravens favored by 2.5 in Los Angeles at SoFi. Now, this feels like a perfect spot for Jim Harbaugh to be in to talk to his team. We're underdogs at home against his brother. I know they have massive respect and love for each other. What do you think we should be looking forward to this evening? And what is some news that we maybe need to know before we pick this game? Schefty?
Well, I'll give you something to think about tonight here for this game. Roquan Smith. I'm not sure he's going to play in the game.
Whoa. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely he's going to play in the game.
Shit.
Unlikely. Put it on the ticker. Okay, Schefty says it's unlikely that Roquan Smith, lead dog of the Baltimore Ravens, is not going to play. That's a big deal.
No Kyle Hamilton or Roquan?
So now, if you take Roquan Smith out of this game against a Charger team that likes to run the football, that's going to be tough. That's a tough loss for the Ravens if, in fact, he does wind up missing the game tonight. And so, hey, I really think that people are sleeping on the Chargers.
Agreed.
I think the Chargers are one of the best teams in the AFC. I think they are a sleeping Super Bowl contender.
Whoa. I love that. We do. We agree,
I
too.
think- I think if you told me that the Chargers made it to New Orleans in February, that wouldn't floor me.
Well, I think Darius Butler picked them to win the Super Bowl. What was that, last year?
Yep. Yeah, and the year before.
Last year and the year before. Didn't do it this year because we thought it would maybe it couldn't happen this quickly with Harbaugh. Especially they had to cut money off the salary cap. They had to rebuild this whole thing. What he did was not only wake up a sleepy Super Bowl contender or whatever, like the crowd is doing. It feels like in that locker room they've always had it, and they were just waiting for somebody to bring it out of them. What a perfect marriage between coach and team and situation.
Obviously, his identity, and once again, I always start with the quarterback. Do we have a quarterback? We hear how Jim Harbaugh talks and thinks about his quarterback. And then the other side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, to make the jump that they've made defense from year to year, what DC Jesse Minter, who will probably be a head coach next year, has done in such a quick time, especially losing those guys, but keeping the core edge guys, and then obviously building up front on both sides of the football. I said it a few weeks ago on the Overreaction, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do contend for a title this year. This would be a big one on the
Yeah, Baltimore's a real deal, though, obviously. We very much understand that. Yeah, it's a nice little check here in Week 12 for both these teams, where we are whenever we meet again in the far future. Where's the money at tonight on this game?
It's all on the Ravens. Over 70% of every single sports book is on the Ravens.
Okay, Schefty. Okay, you're going from home, it appears. You're not in Los Angeles yet again.
Yeah. You know what, Pat? I like these home games. I like the home games.
Amen.
I like doing Monday Night Countdown, hanging out with my dogs, being with you guys here on a Monday, not having to travel, get up, take the red eye, wake up fresh on a Tuesday.
Oh, look at you.
Works out well.
Yeah, you get the journal tonight from home. You know,
I'm sure you'll call me tonight later on. Your eyes will be like this.
Oh, whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter. What was that all about?
What the hell was that?
What was he saying about? I was tired.
Adam.
What do you want me to do?
Somebody
Adam?
gonna screenshot that.
Jeez,
Oh, yeah,
Louise.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I do realize that Schefter literally knows everything happening everywhere. Feels like he did give us a nugget there with Roquan Smith.
For sure. No doubt.
Has that been reported or no?
That is massive news.
That's a big deal, especially against his Chargers team and the way they play.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins just heard that. And I don't know if it already.
He was questionable with the app because he didn't practice all week.
Okay, so.
He said unlikely, yeah.
Yeah, very unlikely.
Especially in a game.
That is all around
Hey, we're brothers. I'm going to pound the rock on your ass.
Yo, I'm going to pound the rock on your ass.
Oh, yeah? Is your guy Roquan playing?
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Oh, he's not, right?
No, but is your guys have a Derrick Henry on your side or no?
No, but do you know who Joe Alt is? Because he's bigger than his dad.
Yeah.
And his papa is a big son of a bitch.
Is he playing defense against Derrick Henry? Is that what's going on?
No, but whoever's playing in front of Roquan, he's not going to want to play.
Why? Because the big son of a bitch
Because that
Joe.
big Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, who's a real smart guy.
It's going to be a good game. This is a good game.
Yeah. Back-to-back prime time.
In the yeah, exactly. And I think the hard balls, they know too.
Oh, yeah.
The intensity is heightened for both teams. Both teams would like to win this for their hard ball.
Got to bring your hard balls.
Yes, you do. Hard hat with the hard balls for the hard balls who play hard ball.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
It's going to be an incredible game.
I cannot wait to hear the breakdown. Is there a Manning cast this evening?
Yes, there is.
So, yeah.
Okay, there'll be a good Manning cast. We'll have Bill Belichick in the next hour. Can't wait to see his big takeaways. His name's starting to get floated.
It is.
Isn't it?
Really?
Yeah, there were some reports, insiders. There were some reports out of the Jets, too, that Aaron, what was the report?
That Aaron Rodgers told Woody Johnson, like, I want to play football, but not for you, bitch.
And then who came out and said they had dinner?
Schulte said, "Oh, give it a break. They had dinner in the city this week."
We'll deal with that all tomorrow, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. I'm excited to see what's real and what isn't.
Yeah.
I'll be very, in Aaron's eyes, what is real.
I got a guess on what's not real.
Okay. That's Gumpy in the back there. Big win for the Dolphins, pal. Congratulations.
Cooking.
You guys are back or what?
Thursday night, Thanksgiving at Lambeau. This is it.
For all the marbles.
Hey, that's a great game.
Good game. Yeah.
That's
That is
great.
the only game.
Yeah, they were marketing the Giants in the
Yeah. Cooper Rush versus Tommy DeVito.
yeah,
Who wants
Giants.
cutlets?
Cowboys are back.
I was like, they should not.
Cowboys
Big
are
win
back.
for the Cowboys. Congrats to the Cowboys getting a win over the Commanders. I was thinking they shouldn't have marketed the teams. Like, I think they should have just said NFL football.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving.
For real.
Like, as I was watching the clips, and I might have been in a state where vitamins were legal, I was watching, I was like, they shouldn't even put the names up. They should just say NFL football is happening all day Thanksgiving.
How cool would it be?
All day Thanksgiving.
How cool would it be if the whole entire season was like that? You turned on your team's game that day, and it was a surprise on who they were playing.
Didn't know who was playing when. Now, granted, Bears-Lions looks a lot different now than it did 4 weeks ago.
Yes.
Definitely.
With how the Bears are. Giants-Cowboys. Cowboys obviously in it. Tommy Cutlets has got certainly some development to get back to what he was playing like before. Dolphins-Packers is the game. Excited to see what both teams are. Fresh off an ass beating, both of them. So how do they roll into Thanksgiving? And then Raiders-Chiefs, always a rivalry. 13.5 feels like a lot, but you look at one team and you go, what? And then you look at the other team and you go, they win. But 13.5 is a lot for the Chiefs.
Yes, it is.
Even on Thanksgiving.
Ritter, what's the forecast in Green Bay? We know?
Well,
cold,
Tua
cold.
said he don't care.
Yeah.
Tua said he's ready to put that to rest, yeah. He doesn't like hearing it
Ooh,
anymore.
32 and snow.
Thank God.
All right, hour 2 will be on the other side. We can't thank you enough for joining us on this Overreaction Monday. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. Like Dude Wipes. Take 3!
I'll tell you what, after last week, I have no idea what to expect. I will say, since Kirk Herbstreit is rolling around in a Bentley right now to a plane, Nick Saban will be the holder today for the field goal kicking contest. $80,000. Rob McElwainey's here, obviously absolute dog, owner of Wrexham, obviously his soccer team, and also It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think you have 10 other investments. This guy might be a billionaire. I have no idea, but he is awesome and entertaining. Kyle, you're a junior here, correct?
Yes, that's correct, Pat.
Have you ever talked any trash about kickers before?
Of course I have, Pat. Come on now.
This was his sign that he brought today. This guy. Is there anything you'd like to say to him before your first hold on TV?
Good luck, man. That's all I can tell you. I'm rooting for you.
Did you ever hold before?
Yeah, when I was in high school. That was a long time ago.
Okay, you're going to do great. Rob, former soccer player, maybe sign him to Wrexham after he makes this kick or no?
And look how confident he looks. I mean, I would be shaking. He seems very, very confident. I think he's going to make it.
Go! Go! 80,000, Kyle! All you got to do is point through the uprights. Nick Saban, the greatest of all time, on the call. Oh, no. Spiral. Throw a completion down the left side.
Wow. I say give him another kick.
Rob, he immediately blamed the holder. Okay.
I don't know, but it looked like it was coming back. It wanted to come back. If it had a little bit more distance, it might have gone in.
Coach Saban, does he deserve another kick, you think, or what? Oh, no, Steve, back throw
another kick.
I want to make Coach dive.
That's smart, yeah, make him play. Coach, you think he deserves another shot?
Let's give him another shot.
Okay. This one for $100,000, Kyle. Nick's looking out for me here a little bit of coaching.
Rob,
what was your mate? Did you graduate?
I did not go to college, so I've adopted Oregon as my home.
If you were to go, would general social sciences be your thing? Hey, hold on, Kyle. Good luck.
Come on, Kyle.
$100,000 in Oregon. Oh, what about? Hey, all right, Kyle, I feel like you hustled me a little bit.
Yeah.
Your second kick was so much better than your first. Shout out to Nick for the hold.
How important is the holder?
Hold is the most important.
Great, man. Congratulations. That's great.
This thing is getting expensive, Reese.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pig!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thanksgiving week, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this magical Overreaction Monday, November 25th, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football! It is fantastic. The Talks the Table's here, who is also fantastic.
You too.
At Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Ty, congrats on a big win.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Conman, congrats on the big loss. We're moving up in the draft.
Yeah, exactly. That's another big wins. Titans win. Boom. We lost to the Titans. That was the biggest game of the year for us. Guess what? We're now the 4th overall pick. And wait till you see what the boys in New England do with that pick. It's going to be magical. You have no idea what's coming.
We got the Indianapolis Colts coming to town next week. Now, they're fresh off a loss to the Detroit Lions. You're fresh off a loss to the Miami Dolphins. Going to get each other's best shot coming out.
Yeah, bingo. And it feels like the Patriots are, they're on the up and up. Coach, when he steps on the field, he doesn't help. He doesn't need to. There's nothing he can do. But Drake May, what's he doing? He's rolling out of the pocket, throwing seeds downfield. Some of our guys are catching it. Some of them aren't. Our offensive line says sometimes, yeah, let's just go early here, and maybe we'll be able to block, but sometimes they'll call false start, and we'll just lose 5 yards and punt the ball away. The vibes aren't great as far as the field itself, but when you look at the thing from a 30,000-foot view, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Zoom out a little bit.
5 years down the road, we might have something.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah?
we might have something. Or maybe it's next year. You never know. With Drake May, it could be 3 years from now.
Is there any comparisons to Drake May's career?
Yeah,
really?
A lot of people are saying, hey, look at Herbert's career arc and that's kind of what you're staring down with Drake May. I would say to that,
We're 11 games into this thing, 12 games in.
I would say I hope not, but boom. Herbert, every year you go into a season and your quarterback, Justin Herbert, you know you have a chance and you know you're going to watch a guy perform every Sunday. I'll take that, especially if at the end of that tunnel is a Harbaugh-esque guy coming in and just clapping it up, calling Drake, man, this guy's a beast, man. I'm just going to call him Beast from now on. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, it sounds like he's – what was that? Sounds like he's looking forward to a different era.
He's moved on.
That can be with Mayo or without Mayo. It can be with a superstar stud O-lineman we get in the draft.
Oh, yeah, Joe Alt.
Maybe a superstar Irish Oots in McMillan from Arizona. But I would hope that whoever is at the helm, guiding this ship on Sundays when the game is being played, helps the guys out a little bit maybe. That's the only thing I would hope, is that the leader of the ship is like, hey, boys, during this game, I'm going to chime in a little bit. I'm going to let you guys know where we might need something, where we could
What are you referring to, please?
I'm referring to Gerard Mayo saying after the game, like, hey, once the game starts, I can't really help you, and this is the clip right here, and it's nuts.
Look, it's always once those guys cross the white lines, there's nothing I can do for them. There's nothing any coach can do for them once they cross the white line. It's my job to continue to prepare not only them but our coaches to go out here and play better football.
So I think he was talking about the penalties.
Yeah,
is what he was talking about.
Sure, yeah, definitely. I do know, and me and Debo were talking about this before the show. Like, I'm pretty sure Ben Johnson helps out during the game when the Lions are playing football. I'm pretty sure some of those offensive coaches definitely help, and I'm also assuming some of the defensive coaches might help during the game too. But again, I don't know.
You're not losing hope.
I'm not losing
Sounds
hope.
like I'm
not losing hope. Look, would I be wearing this hat if I was losing hope? We're 3-8, and I'm still repping the logo, and I will continue to, no matter what, whether we were 3-8 or 8-3. But when you're hearing stuff like that from a coaching staff, it's like, okay, well, what are you doing? Going out there patting them on the back, handing out water cups? Like, I hope not.
That'd be helping.
It would be helping. Yeah.
Well, you can't go out in between the lines. He's got to throw the Gatorade ball maybe out there if he's doing that. But that's for athletic trainers who are obviously, very incredible at what they do. It sounds like he's out. That's 9-year NFL vet there, H.J. Butler.
It does sound like that. I think he took it out of context a little bit. Look, he can prepare those guys from Monday to Saturday. And then once they go out, there's a player, hey, you got to tackle. You got to watch the ball. You got to cover guys. You got to do your job as a player, as a pro. And to your point, what we were talking about before the show, the offensive coordinators or offensive head coaches who are play callers, they're in the helmet up until 15 seconds on that play clock. So yes, they can help a little bit more in that regard. So, but I can get it from a fan's perspective. My head coach is coming at saying that after a blowout loss. It's like that's tough.
Okay, so as I understand, play clock. Okay, I didn't know if that was some new G1 term.
Yeah, sure.
How was the G1 weekend?
F1 was phenomenal.
It
was a phenomenal weekend. Vegas did it right. They had a rough start at that Grand Prix in Vegas last season, but this year figured things. Obviously, the Strip is the heartbeat of Vegas. So when you're closing off all those roads and doing all that shit for employees and the hotels and all that shit, but they figured it out more. It was a great event, great race weekend as a whole. They did it right, man. It was a
Who won?
Event. George Russell actually won the race. Mercedes came in 1-2, so Russell was 1, Hamilton was 2. This is the first season in F1 history that 7 drivers won multiple races this year. But with where Max finished, Max Verstappen won his 4th title to join 5 other drivers who've ever done it before.
Congratulations on that. Let me tell you how it affected my life. Did you see the screen in this game that would end up being a 4 overtime game? That being in yellow in the lower right corner, and even Liberty being in yellow at the bottom, that should have been, whoever made that decision should be kicked off of everything forever.
Yep.
Every single play, there was just a yellow thing down the corner. It's like, is there a penalty?
Oh, here we go.
4 over. That's very important.
Yeah.
And that thing is the biggest yellow thing I've ever seen. Caught my attention, though. Certainly caught my attention.
You knew.
Certainly saw, no. Whoa, is this game, down at the bottom. Just the whole time right there. Scared the shit out of me. I think there should be a ban on yellow things.
Agreed.
Being on football games.
That would be smart.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Just complete ban on yellow things being allowed on there unless it is a flag, because that is so vital, especially look at this is a picture from my bedroom, I think, that I sent in, right? This is literally, so I'm watching this in my bedroom. I'm like, oh my God. We have a 2-point attempt at this point, because this new overtime rules, and like a flag.
Big deal.
15, I mean, that changes everything in it. So shout out to G1, affected my life, even whenever it's not even a part of it. It's really an enjoyable experience.
It is. It's
awesome.
great.
I saw people riding escalators over there.
I was going to say, great PR machine, because the drivers hate it. They got there right away. They're like, these goddamn people are smoking too many doobies. You can't get, getting high on contact walking in here. The people who are going to Vegas, just like, they hate it. It's like, well, okay, I came to Vegas on vacation. I wanted to have a great Vegas experience. And you just got a goddamn racetrack in the middle of the city. All of a sudden, the locals are saying, like, this sucks. I'm not paying to go to this race. But, everyone say, hey, this is the best ever. People love the F1 in Vegas.
Sold out.
Yeah,
it was sick. I mean, seeing the track, seeing the strip, seeing the sphere. It's awesome.
Yeah, I saw there was a sweet social media degree video of somebody panning and showing the empty seats and then showing it sold out.
Yeah,
that was
right
cool.
where I was too. I was sitting right where that guy took that video.
You saw the guy.
Did you take the video?
I know, could have been me, but no.
Who'd you see over there? Any super celebs?
No, I didn't. I mean, no.
No,
they
don't
were
give
out
a
there.
shit.
They were out
Well,
there.
Jay Leno usually goes, but he can't.
Yeah.
He's going through it right now.
He's banged up.
Hey, keys and peace, Jay Leno.
He's got to watch.
Pay whoever you owe.
No.
What do you mean?
You don't understand Pittsburgh Hills.
Tumbled down a hill.
That could happen.
Hampton Inn.
That could come out of
It's
nowhere.
happened to me quite a few times.
Yeah, okay.
It's nice Hampton Inns in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
He was out there working a club. This guy's still working as if he's a comic that never made it. He works as if he's broke, He's staying in Hampton Inn, of course. The next closest hotel, 45 minutes away from where he was staying. Why wouldn't you do that? He wanted some wings down there at Dino's. He sees Dino's down there. He goes, I heard this place got great wings. That's his whole thing.
You think that? You heard about this? Place got great wings.
So, and I guess, there's a chance he could have walked around, but holy shit, at his age.
Full speed down the hill.
Happy he's all right.
Yep.
He'd say he might lose his eye. It's okay.
I mean, Jesus Christ, that's the worst bruise I've ever seen.
Look how steep that thing is, too. I mean,
what
you're
I'm
talking about Pittsburgh Hills.
That's not the hill he fell down.
way. There's no way.
That's not the hill he fell down.
Pittsburgh Salutes, Yinzer Salutes went and said, hold the phone. There's no way that's the Dinos that I go to. And they said, it is the Dinos they go to. So they tried to piece it together. Look how steep that hill is. That's a purple
Double black.
Double black diamond.
right there. It's only 60
At
feet.
his age, yeah.
Yeah, it's only 60 feet. It was 55 feet, I guess, to be exact. They measured it.
That's 55?
That's
That's
55
not
feet from the top to the
55.
bottom. That
No.
is.
Yeah.
They did the, they did the measure.
Those signs are like 10 feet tall.
Go back to the left, please.
Maybe some sleet on the
753,
ground.
50. Yeah, the hill is 56 feet from top to bottom, where he said it was 60 feet.
Did he fall down, get back up, go back to the top of the hill, fall down, get back up, go back to the top of the hill five times?
He had 112 feet of damage because he did. He said, I'm not going to let this hill beat me one time.
No.
He said, I got to conquer it, goes back up to the top, hits a double. But yeah, that's it. So I think what happened was, he took quite a header.
That is clearly not 55 feet.
56.
That clearly not 56 feet.
This is
Look at the light pole. Are you telling me that?
Jay was remarkably accurate as he estimated the hill to be about 60 feet. After measuring, the hill is 56 feet.
So you're telling me that light post right there
100,000
stands
feet.
at 200 feet?
Yeah, I think so.
There's no way.
I think so, bub.
This is a clear mobster shakedown. I mean, look at the bruise on his
You don't
face.
think that could be 20? You don't think that could be 2 first downs from the bottom to the top there? You don't think?
No. Maybe. But you're right. I mean, falling down a hill, or you got hit in the head 40 times with a 2x4, and that's how you got that bruise.
When you were trying to get the Dino.
Exactly.
Did you see Dino's did say that he had the chicken parm after he fell down the hill?
Chicken parm there. Dino's is fantastic. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who would never. What's that?
So he fell down that hill, had got that whole face situation, and then walked into this Dino's place. Yeah. And the Dino's place didn't call the cops, and they don't have footage of him.
They said, Jay Leno, Jesus Christ.
Holy shit, what do you want?
Too. He still performed. Too.
You're damn right he delivered.
Stop.
Guy's a workaholic.
Yes.
This is the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I think birds aren't real.
He's been through a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, remember
Like lit himself on fire in his garage.
how about that one car when he was doing his Jay Leno's garage?
Yeah. Toppled.
Fuck rolls.
Yeah.
He's in the middle, bum, 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 bum. And the guy's like, sorry about that. And no shit. On a TV show, that would be the nightmare.
Left side of his face bruised, right arm hurt.
Well, that's because when you roll, you see.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's rolling down a hill.
Protected.
Yeah. Trying to protect myself, you see.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, who if he was to fall down a hill, he would cause a cliff.
Bingo.
Because he would saw it right now.
That's right.
College football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup winner. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who predicted that Ohio State was going to beat the Indiana Hoosiers the way they did. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, how you feeling, bud? Big win for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh, yeah, big win. I think I predicted 35-10. I was a little bit off. But going back to Jay Leno, you're telling me that's a 60-foot hill? That's a 3-story building at most, which is what, 30 feet? Just a little comparison.
Yep, that is what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
I mean, if he did, as Ty said, if he did take a running start from the top of that hill and just go face first and roll like he's doing forward rolls all the way down and hit his head on the asphalt, I could see that happening.
Fine, look, he probably went down near the. Can you get that back here?
Can someone in Pittsburgh please go to this hill for us and fucking measure it?
Because look at this. Look at this part here.
Down it.
This you might have thought this was a trail. That ain't. That ain't a trail.
Not trail, Jay.
That's
Not
probably
trail,
a bunch
Jay.
of rocks right there. If I had to
That
guess.
is allegedly exactly what happened. Is he found a worn down part of it, and
Yeah, because everyone's walking to Dino's.
Jesus Christ, Jay.
Everybody goes to Hampton Inn is coming to eat at fucking Dino's.
Oh, this must be the trail of Dino's right here.
It's not, Jay. It's down here. I think this is.
The front desk even told him, it's steep, but there's a little trail there.
This is what got him. I think. I think it started here and then bang. That one.
It was probably slippy too.
It's not a 60-foot hill.
Okay, so the
Not
person that
close.
went and said it was 56 feet.
A lot. They're in on it.
Okay.
They're in on it
Can
too.
you imagine eating wings that place and seeing Jay Leno crawl in? His elbow.
That's what I want to see. There's got to be footage somewhere of that. There has to be footage.
No way. Somebody got an
Rock in his eye.
Is it bad?
Just give me the chicken parm.
Jay, we're happy you're all right, bub. Maybe you're just retire, man. Just think about it.
I think
Guy's worth $1 billion.
He's a worker.
They said noted workaholic Jay Leno suffers catastrophic fall outside of Hampton Inn in Pittsburgh. Pennsylvania. That's how I learned about
Is
it.
it where Dino's, where Tomlin and Jay went?
Glazer
went?
Was it in the same part of town?
There's one in Latrobe, there's one in Greensburg.
So where was he? He was in
I
Greensburg.
thought it said Greensburg, yeah.
Yeah, so
no, not the same one.
Same restaurant, though, you're saying. Dino's is just a spot.
Yeah.
Don't want to walk there, though.
No.
You got to be kidding me. That's a different hill.
Yeah, that's.
Yes. So I believe what the Pittsburgh
There's
people
no way he's
did.
walking down that.
and
He's
said,
not
yes,
walking that hill.
That
Come
ain't
on.
the hill that he was walking down.
Jay Leno football.
Lion.
All right, let's get
If he
some.
did.
Let's get some football talk. Let's talk about Ohio State beating Indiana the way they did, and then college football in the SEC having the Saturday that they did. And now I think we all just expect Indiana to be in because it's difficult to win a game every single week in one of these P4 conferences, is what the argument is going to be. Ohio State, though, obviously start out a little bit slow. Okay, a little bit slow. I think it was a 3-and-out there early, and then Indiana gets the ball back. And, kid, we're standing right behind him for Indiana. The ball was coming down, could have easily fair caught it, especially with 102,000, 103,000 people around. Biggest game of his career for sure. And instead of fair catching it, he catches that thing and gains like 15 yards. I was like, oh, these boys are loose. These boys are loose. And everybody was, except for seemingly the punter, who I think, once again, can't stress enough, the hands are so important whenever it comes to being a punter. If you're a punter, you should be in top 5 on your team in hands. That is a real thing. Every time you're going on the field, you're catching the ball. Whether it's punting or holding for a field goal, you have to catch. So obviously that's a learning lesson. And then Caleb taking one to the crib here against the punt team as well. I mean, it's just not a great day for special teams, but that is where you can showcase your depth. Right? That's where if you have like 6 5-stars at every position, you can certainly take advantage of that in special teams with who Indiana has playing. And the fact that Caleb Dahn is returning punts against Indiana tells you this Ohio State team wanted to, make a statement, and they certainly did, AJ. Henderson, he slid. He said, let's just run this clock out. We already got this thing won. And Ryan Day said, thumb down mentality. We kill these dudes. Justin Fry, the offensive line coach, who I think is an Indiana guy, during the Skull sessions, gave a speech about how, normally the loudest in the room is the one that's the worst in the room. It's the ones that are quiet that you need to worry about. That was a direct shot at Cignetti. And if we know anything about how Ryan Day reacts, the Lou Holtz stuff, he showed that team everything that Cignetti said. So shout out to Henderson sliding in that moment and understanding that, but then also shout out to their entire team going, I remember he was a lot of this. AJ, I'm sure the Ohio State fans loved it. I want to speak for not everybody in Indiana, but a majority of people in Indiana that don't have media passes and credentials. Nobody in Indiana is pissed about Ohio State doing that, because in college ball, that is shit you have to do, especially at this time of year. You have to showcase a big win, because there's going to be somebody in that 13-person college football playoff committee who's going to look at the score of a game and just say, well, this is how this game went. Ohio State wanted to make sure it was a statement. And if you're going to talk shit like Cignetti has, like when a team comes back, foots out the sig, does that, that's football. That is a part of it. You got to be pretty proud of your Ohio State boys, though, because there was a lot on the line that game, and they showed up in a massive way, Age.
Yeah, they did, and they responded, too. It wasn't a great start for them, 3 and out, and then Indiana went on a nice long drive and scored. So, yeah, people were probably a little bit nervous in the crowd, but I know the crowd was actually a factor. Didn't Sig even have to talk about it after the game? We didn't really expect it to be as loud as it was, so yeah, I think everybody kind of had an edge to him. You were there. You saw Ryan Day on Friday. There's a bit of an edge to him. You could tell he wanted to start the game right now. He wanted to play.
That "So Are We" was so fucking sweet.
Oh, yeah.
That was so sweet. Here it is. It's Hoosiers team's real deal.
Well, so are we.
Oh! Oh!
Hell yeah.
I love that. I did. As soon as that was his response, so are we. Hey, who do you think you're talking to right now? That type of confidence, I should have known immediately what was going to take place. And I think he even acknowledged that, when I gave my pick. I could see how this could be a blowout, is what I thought. And then I refuse to believe that being the case, because this college football season has been so bananas, so chaotic. And then the rest of the day, everything that would unfold in the SEC, it's holy shit. You're talking about all across the country, things were happening. And in the South, more specifically, a lot happened. And I think Indiana is still very likely to get into the college football playoff. I don't think they're going to be hosting a game, okay?
No.
But now they got to beat Purdue.
True.
Which,
spoiler makers?
Holy shit, if you're Purdue, your season has gone terribly. As the head coach, they're talking about if you go 1-11, this guy is going to be gone. You beat this Indiana team. You're talking about an offseason of we did it. We had a good year. We didn't even have a bad year. So Indiana definitely has to take care of business there. But everywhere else, it's wide open doors have been left in a lot of different conferences right now.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then even just the other games, we talked about the Alabama-Oklahoma kind of briefly. Oklahoma's similar. It's hey, haven't had a great year, but we beat Alabama, and we knocked them out of the playoff. This is a success. And Florida as well. Florida with Ole Miss is the same situation.
And LSU.
Yeah, and LSU. But for Florida, too, it's hey, earlier on in the year, we were talking about, Napier, get him out here. When Florida announced that they were sticking with Napier, it was what the hell are they doing? These guys must be idiots if they're just going to roll with Billy Napier. And then they beat LSU and they beat Ole Miss. I assume a lot of Gator fans looking back on the season are going to say, yeah, this was actually a great year for the Gators. We're building on something.
And DJ Lagway.
Yeah,
you find out you got a guy. And how about Napier going crossbar?
I know. That was sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, they drop in your ear. This is how a lot of programs work. Drop in your ear and they go, Jimmy Gaillard will go, you have anything for Napier? And I'll be yeah, I got something. Because, if everything has already been kind of talked about, I'll go, yeah. I was so impressed with him just having a ball. He's the first coach that has had a ball, I believe, talking to us. So, I had mad respect for that. It's okay, this guy, still ball guy. Especially with the way the team had turned around, fresh off a win over LSU. I'm all right, let's do this thing. Let's see, is this guy going to spin it? So in my head, while he's giving an answer to somebody else, I'm I need him to throw this ball. Then he was a quarterback in college, I believe. He's the wide receivers coach before this, so he had thrown the ball to wide receivers a lot. So I'm fuck it. Everybody on earth does crossbar challenge, And if he was to do it in a suit, unprompted, especially after everything we've all said about get this guy out of here, it's $1 million. Let's do this. And then him doing it and being all right, I'll do it. Yeah, I'm going to go get change. I'll come out and do it. Cool, your social team could do that. And then Herbstreit pushing him nah, we need to see this. We need to see this now. What a moment. He was close.
Yeah, very.
He was very close. He took his ears out whenever he took the thing out so he couldn't hear me. He said, move up to the 20. But if he moves up to the 20, he probably He probably hits that.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh out of a suit. What a moment. And obviously, we will continue to donate to hurricane relief. We're up over $1 million. That would have been an electric moment. We'll continue to have those, hopefully. But I'm a believer in Billy Napier after that. Just after that moment, right there.
You're the head coach doing this, before a big game. Obviously, all the conversation has been around him, and obviously Florida comes out and says they're going to stand behind it. But doing this before a big game, even something your players see, because some guys may be uptight or maybe not necessarily ready for a game. You see your coach kind of, okay, we do this great, cool moment right now. I'm in on him too, man. Just you could tell how much a team kind of rides for their guy by how they play. And they came into this year with the second toughest season in the country. Yeah, they played guys, week after week after week and competed, turned their season around with the injuries and the uncertainty of quarterback. Now Lagway's a guy, you got your head coach there. I'm excited to see what this Florida team can do going forward.
Yeah, good for them. Next couple of years. DJ Lagway, I assume, going to be in Heisman conversation starting next year. Heisman has become a two-horse race, seemingly.
Yep.
Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty, even though a quarterback can obviously earn his way into the convo over the last couple of weeks. But it's like, here we go, boys. Non-quarterback going to win this thing. And Travis Hunter, they lose to Kansas. He still went for like 120-something. Two touchdowns on the offenses. I mean, he went bananas. And Genty, I think he crosses 2,000 yards. I think he has a chance to get Barry Sanders. Yeah. Even though that seems so incredibly out of reach whenever you look at records as a total. And he sat out some halves.
And he got banged up last week.
Yeah, so
or this weekend.
And I think he was hurt this weekend playing where he went for 200 whatever. It's been a hell of a college football year. All right, let's get back to the NFL, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is the greatest head coach of all time and the greatest general manager of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, host of the Manning Cast first half, which we'll watch tonight, as the Ravens take on the Chargers in the Har Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Belichick.
Hey.
How are you, Coach?
Good, Pat. AJ, how you doing? Gang, how's it going?
How you doing, Coach?
Hell yeah, Coach. Coach, I can't help but notice all the game balls behind you. I think I've been told that those are potentially, there's some Dolphins ones in there. There's some, look at the Lombos. Hey, Coach, hey, you done good in this life, Coach. You done good in this life. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Let's chit-chat about tonight's game. Whenever you have two brothers taking each other on with very similar strategies, does it benefit either one of them? Is there any benefit to either of the Harbaughs tonight? And if you were one of them, what would you be thinking as you go into play against your brother?
I think that's probably a little bit overrated. In the end, you prepare your team and the players play the game on the field. You make, in-game adjustments. But, the play callers, I don't know how many plays Jim and John are calling. Play callers are really important in every game. And so, look, it's a great rivalry. It's very competitive, of course, at the top. But in the end, this game will be decided by the players on the field like it always is.
Is there any matchups that you like this evening? Like, for instance, we heard Roquan Smith going to be out. So we would assume with the way the Chargers like to run the ball at J.K. Dobbins, is that something that you'll be looking for? Is that a massive missing piece for the Ravens? Or what's a matchup we should think about?
Well, I think, as always, Pat, we know it comes down to points. And the Ravens are capable of scoring a lot. And the Chargers are one of the best red area defenses in the league. They do a really good job down there. They don't blitz a lot, but they keep people out of the end zone, and the scoring against them has been good. The Ravens have given up a lot of points. They've given up a lot of big plays, but that definitely quieted down last week. So we'll see if they can continue to improve on their defense and keep the points down. So, again, I think in the end it'll be whether the Chargers offense control the ball and score enough points to win, or whether the Chargers defense can keep Baltimore from, look, Baltimore's going to get the ball down there. It's a question of how many points they come out with. I'd say, honestly, I always feel like Baltimore's biggest opponent is Baltimore. They're capable of playing great in all three phases, but some things have gone wrong for them over the course of the year, whether it's the place kicker, their defense, some untimely turnovers on offense. They're the most penalized team in the league, which, a lot of that is their fault. If they can clean those things up, I think they can be really, really good. But, we're 2/3 of the way through the season, and some of those problems still persist for the Ravens. So I think that's the big challenge for them. But looking forward to it tonight. It should be a great matchup.
Yeah, you're talking about that red zone defense for the Chargers, and then you talk about the place kicker, like one of the greatest of all time. Look for a big bounce back game for Justin Tucker here.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Need it, Tuck.
Here we go, Tuck. Can't wait. I refuse to fully commit to the fact that Justin Tucker is going to miss a kick a game now. That is not who he is. He's going to bury him. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, how would you, if you're running this Ravens defense, like what would be your plan to try to stop Justin Herbert? We know what he can do with his arm, but the guy, especially in the red zone, we've seen like the clips with this coach, like he's not scared to lower his head and get those tough yards, like Josh Allen-esque at times. I guess what would really be your plan to attack him?
Yeah, well, I think one of the strengths of the Ravens is actually their run defense. They play with really good technique. They use their hands well, and they're kind of built more for the running game than the passing game. The issue has really been more in the secondary play and some tackling back there. But obviously you don't want to let the Chargers run the ball in, which is what they'll want to try to do. I think I take my chances on. Look, I don't want to see Herbert run, but I take my chances on him running. I think that the true running game is really more of an issue. But look, you got to stay alert for him. Certainly, he's athletic enough to run the ball in there. I don't think that's what the Chargers really want to do, but would they sprinkle one in there? Yeah, sure. I think the big thing with Herbert is to just keep him in the pocket and make him throw under pressure, and that hasn't been historically great for him. He's been really good in play action, which goes well with their running game, and that opens a lot of things up for the quarterbacks.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the running backs, and if you want to talk play action, he's having a massive year, Derrick Henry, but he's not the only one. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, before the season, when a lot of these guys were free agents, everyone was talking about, hey, the running back position's devalued. No one's really going to want these guys. And then Derrick Henry, obviously we saw what Saquon did last night, and then Josh Jacobs with the Packers, among a couple other guys. We always talk about the NFL being cyclical. Do you think we're back to the point where teams are more focused on, hey, we need to have a dominant rushing attack in order to kind of win throughout the course of a season?
Well, I think it's always best offensively when you have good balance. And look, Derrick Henry's a great back. He's having a great year. So is Barkley. But when you look at the rest of the offense, Lamar is a huge problem. Hurts is a problem. The Eagles have really good receivers. I know Smith didn't play last night, but their receivers are good. The tight end's good. It's the same thing with the Ravens. Yes, Henry's a big problem. Lamar Jackson is probably even a bigger problem. Andrews is good. They have a lot of speed at receiver with, Flowers and Bateman and those guys. So the balance makes it hard to defend. And if you give it all up on one play on a long pass or a 30, 40-yard pass, that's very discouraging. So you never want to be just too light on that where you just gang up on the running game and then, give up big plays. On the other hand, if you're playing a little more balanced, then, guys like Henry and Jacobs and Barkley and those guys can do a lot of damage. So I think it's really benefited them to be on a well-balanced offense. And that's really what happened when we got Corey Dillon. Corey Dillon, they ganged up on him at Cincinnati. He was about all they had at that time, and it was tough sledding. He ran for 1,600 yards with us, but, when you can open up the game in the passing game and have more balance there, it just makes it better for everybody. And when those guys get out in space like Henry and Barkley do, they have the speed and the home run ability to have some 70, 80, 60-yard runs, which is a huge weapon when you can get those kind of big plays out of the running game. You usually don't count on an 80-yard run. You count on 10, 15, here and there when you block things well. But, those guys have the home run ball, and that makes them very, very dangerous.
Yeah, Coach, did you football lifers know that it was impossible for the game to keep going the way it was whenever they were trying to make it wide open, passing-only league, seemingly? Rules are being changed. Teams are being built differently. Did you football lifers know that the run game inevitably was going to be the most important part and come back to being a focal point?
Well, I'll just say this, Pat. I think every defensive coach, every defensive coordinator, every defensive play caller knows that there's kind of no worse feeling than to, get the ball back for the offense, and then the offense go out there and run 25 seconds off the clock with 3 incomplete passes, and you're back out there again. It's just, AJ, you've been there, you've been on butt, you too, you come to the sideline, and you can't even get your, you can't even get a Gatorade, and you throw 3 incomplete passes and you're back out there, and no time has come off the clock. And so running the ball, being balanced, bringing the physicality to the game. Like, Detroit's done a great job with that with Coach Campbell and their running backs. They got 2 running backs that are very different, but they're both having a lot of success. They work off each other. It helps Goff. Play actions are open. I mean, everybody's being productive. I mean, those things are all work together. But to not run the ball, just go back there and throw it every time and throw incomplete passes. And we saw that last week when teams are trying to going back to the Charger Cincinnati game where his offenses are going out there and throwing 3 incomplete passes and giving the ball back where their opponent now has a chance to score and win at the end of the game. So. That's the defensive perspective.
Yeah, I didn't think about the managing of the game perspective, let alone like, hey, we can take advantage of them getting smaller linebackers and smaller D-line because they feel like they got to cover more and run. Also, managing the game, we're putting our defense in terrible spots whenever we just throw the ball. Feels like that's becoming football again. And I don't want to say again because it was never that way, but for everybody. Seems like everybody is kind of acknowledging that's the case. Speaking of, the Chiefs have won multiple times now with that adage. They also win close ones. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Coach, we were talking earlier about how the Chiefs, they win games in very ugly ways sometimes, but they always get it done in the end. Is winning games, especially those close ones, a skill, and is that something you can work on? Obviously, the Chiefs, you could even throw the Vikings in there. The Vikings have won a lot of games very close, even when they've been up and kind of let the other team in. But is that something you can actually work on, or how do you go about, kind of spreading that message throughout your team, letting them know, like, hey, this might be close, but in the end, we will find a way to win?
Yeah, well, I think, look, you practice situational football every week, and you never know what's going to come up. Whether you're going to have to make a kick to win, return a kick to win, recover an onside kick, or play defense and stop them, or drive and score. I mean, it could be any or all of those. The first 3 quarters are the first 3 quarters, but when you get into that fourth quarter in a close game, it's really a lot about situational football. How many possessions do you have left? How do you make the most of those possessions? What do you need? And how do you stop the team? How do they play in those situations too? Do they go to a certain guy or a certain type of coverage or a certain type of pressure or whatever it is? Like, you just have to play. You have to play that final. It could be the final play of the game, the final series of the game, but you have to situationally play that out to win and be able to execute it. It comes down to a field goal here, but you still have to make it against Carolina. We've seen several the last few weeks where you get in that situation and don't execute the kick. And so everybody understanding that when they're in the game in those situations, everything's dependent on how their team, when I say team, it's a team of teams, whether you're the field goal team, the hands team, the punt return team, kickoff coverage team, whatever it is, that, the game's on the line. This is your opportunity to play at a championship or winning level. And you need everybody to come through on that unit. And I think you saw a lot of that yesterday. It's the kickoff coverage team for Washington. It's the field goal team for Kansas City. It's the hands team in the Bears game. I mean, those units all became very important. Now, I'll just say, I don't know why you would ever kick the ball to Turpin. I don't think that's a good idea. That's, to me, this is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing that happened to Cleveland in the opener. They lob it down the middle of the field to him a couple times on punts, and he rips one back on him. Here he muffs it, and so that might have, slowed the coverage down a little bit. But, I mean, you just got really nobody playing off a block, nobody really covering a kick. I mean, it's just terrible. Why you would let this guy touch the ball, look, they hand it to him, that's one thing, but to kick it to him and let him return it, I mean, you're eventually going to pay the price. This guy's just too good.
Special teams all over that game yesterday between the Cowboys and the Commanders. Block kicks, missed kicks, big return. I mean, yes, very massive for both sides. And if you're going to be great, you're going to have to be very sound in the special teams department, which is why we're all pretty jacked up to see kind of how Justin Tucker does tonight for this Baltimore Ravens team. At this point of the season, do we know who everybody is? Do you think we know who everybody is? Like the Niners, they lose big yesterday to the Packers without their quarterback, obviously. But all year it seems like they've been different than what they've been in the past. Then, let's talk to the Lions. Lions are beating the hell out of teams right now. Do you think we know who these teams are at this point? Are we deep enough into this to figure out who we think is going to go and who potentially has no chance?
Well, what were you saying last year about the Eagles when they were 10-1?
Oh, they were going to go win it all.
Yeah.
They were the best team in football, Coach. They were the best team in football.
I don't think it's really that important what's happened to this point. I think the teams that are still in it, if they play well in the remaining part of the season, they'll be in good shape and they'll have a good chance to win. The Giants did that in both their Super Bowl wins under Coach Coughlin. Tampa did that in 2000. Those are wild card teams that they barely made it into the playoffs, but they played well enough at the end to get into the playoffs and then played well in playoff time. So I think the teams that are in position now, great. Some teams are in better position than others, but really what happens in the remaining few weeks of the season here is going to determine how the seasons turn out. I mean, you look at Dallas last year. They won the division. I mean, they had a really good year. Had one bad game against Green Bay, and everybody thought they had a terrible year. So it really is about what happens from here on out. Now, there's a number of teams, there's a third of the league that are out. Their season's essentially over. Like they have maybe a mathematical chance, but they're out of it. So, and they're already starting to get ready for next year and that type of thing in terms of, playing time, adjusting their roster, maybe claiming guys, things like that kind of think about next year's roster. But the other 2/3 of the teams are battling it out for those playoff spots. And everything depends on how it goes from here forward, not what happened behind them. It's what's in front of them.
All right, get hot. Get hot.
Yeah.
Get hot. Now's the time. Everything's in front of you. Go ahead and get it. And obviously, in the hunt, there's a little bit more teams in the NFC playoff picture than there is in the AFC. But the NFC at the top, especially that NFC North, just 10 wins, 8 wins, 8 wins. It's bananas on the NFC side. The AFC side, going to be a dogfight all the way to the end. D-Bud has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, you obviously played, coach for a long time, called plays as a head coach as well, and you spent a lot of time with different coordinators that went on to other places. Now, tonight, it's a lot of people familiar with the other teams. Zach Orr, defensive coordinator, obviously was in the building with Greg Roman. Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator for the Chargers, was in the building with the Ravens as well. So, does that help, I guess, the defensive side or the offensive side more? And, with the gotta-have-it situations, how big are those situations when you've been in the building, you've been in the meeting rooms with those guys?
Yeah, I think you can overthink that a little bit. If it's they know that we know that they know that we know that they know, and you just, in the end, what really matters is what you can do. What can you execute? And this can be a great play. That could be a great play. If you can execute it well, good. Might be a great idea, but if you can't do it very good, or you can't really, that's not what you do. That's not the type of thing that your style is. Then you're probably better off not doing it. I think in the end, Jim Harbaugh is going to do what he does, and they're going to live and die like they always do on the running game, good defense, good tough football. And look, Baltimore is Baltimore. I think they're very capable of beating any team in the league, maybe by a couple touchdowns, to be honest with you, but not if they're the most penalized team in the league, which they are now. Not if they, give up, in the 30s on the points and have to try to outscore everybody. Not if they, keep missing key kicks and all that. They're capable of that. They just haven't done it consistently. I think if Baltimore can put it together, in the last part of the season here, they're going to be hard to beat. But if they keep, they've formed certain habits, and those habits right now haven't really changed much going back to the first week of the season. So if that's who they are, then they're going to run into a game where they just don't play their best, and they're going to come up short. But if they could get it going, and I think Lamar is having a great year. I think he's bailed them out so many times, but you just can't keep being in 2nd and 20, 3rd and 17, 1st and 15, 1st and 20. It puts so much pressure on your team. And Lamar's done a great job of getting out of it for the most part, and still scoring a lot of points. But it just, that's why they've lost. What have they lost? 4 games?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's those long yardage situations that are penalties that are your fault. Those false starts and formations and all that. Those aren't defensive penalties. Those are drop passes. They've had just too many plays like that for a good football team. And I think when they put it together, they're going to be very, very tough. And if they don't, then they're going to, keep struggling a little bit like they have. And, sometimes they'll be all right and sometimes they won't.
A lot of people think they're going to put it together. Where's the money at tonight on this particular game?
70% is on the Ravens.
70% is on the Ravens, minus 2.5 going in to take on Jim. I mean, who knows how it ends up. If they do piece it together, you're talking about, here we go.
Big time.
Lights, camera, action. Mostly action, like Jameis Winston says. But they've not. I mean, this Herbert-led Chargers team will take advantage. And I don't think a lot of people have watched a lot of Chargers football this year. I think that's potentially why the number is the way it is. This Chargers team wins the games that they would normally lose in years past. Feels different. It's amazing what a good leadership can do to a building, Coach. Isn't it crazy? It's amazing what can happen.
Yeah, the mental toughness and physical toughness that they've shown. And again, their red area defense, they've really been resilient. They've had a good, solid running game, and that's opened up the passing game instead of having Herbert go back there and try to throw the ball 35 times, 40 times. They're able to balance things up, and the defense has played well too. So again, the offense doesn't feel like they got to go out there and score 40 points. But with the Ravens, sometimes they've had to go out and score 40 points to win. And if they can tighten that up a little bit defensively, from where they've been and stop giving up, those long plays and easy touchdowns, then, they'll probably outscore teams. But, when you're counting on scoring 40 points on offense every week, it's just hard. And they'll probably have a hard time doing that against the Chargers tonight. I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to, put up that kind of number. They're capable of it, but they just haven't shown the consistency to do that against a good defense.
Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, can you explain a little bit of what playoff football feels like as far as the week of leading up to it? I know coaches sometimes want to keep everything as normal as you can. Hey, it's just a normal work week. But how do you, prepare players, maybe some guys that haven't been in those situations, the win or go home, to not put too much into it and just play, tell them, hey, do what got you here. There's a reason we're here. How do you not build it up too much for guys that maybe be experiencing the playoffs for the first time?
Question, and I think there's definitely a mentality of, look, the game's still played on the same field, the time's the same, the rules are the same. It's just another football game. I think the big difference, though, when you get to playoff football is, you have, let's call it 60 plays on defense, 65 plays on offense, whatever it is. That's what you have left in your season, period. You don't have any more than that if you don't perform well. So that's different than right now. I mean, no matter what happens in a game tonight, there's another game next week. There's another game the week after that. Well, when you get into playoff football, there is no other game. So, I tell the coordinators, look, you got 65 plays left. Let's make sure we have the right ones. We have our right best guys doing what they do best. We run the plays that we're most confident in, and we don't have any extra plays. Those, we're not saving it for next week or next month. If it's not a good play this week, then let's throw it out and let's talk about what can help us win this week. So, Josh McDaniels has always did a great job on that, especially offensively, because you control the play. But whether it's offensively, defensively, in the kicking game, who do we want back there handling the ball? What's our best return? What's our best pass rush? Way to pressure the quarterback and so forth. Those are great. I think decisions that coordinators and play callers have to make, because you have a finite number of plays left, and then if you win, then you have a finite number of plays left the next week. But that's how I would look. If that's putting too much pressure on it, then that maybe that's too much pressure. But that's the reality of it.
It worked, I think, for a long time. You talk about those big moments, and we just saw Patrick Mahomes lead his team back to a win against Carolina Panthers, and I think as soon as he got the ball with 119 or whatever, we all knew what was going to happen. It's just like when Tom got the ball with you guys, and Tom and I obviously mean the entire offense, it's like we all kind of knew what was going to take place. What do you think separates the people that are able to do that and those that are not? Like, why are Tom and Patrick, when Patrick goes out there yesterday, we go, yeah, too much time. He's going to go down the field and do that. Tom, it was the same exact way for the Patriots whenever you guys had your long dynastic run. What separates them, you think, and why do they have that and then others don't?
Well, again, it's situational football. It's knowing what you need, knowing what you need to do to win. And, certainly the Chiefs, I mean, look, it's no secret. They've had trouble protecting the passer. So, Mahomes is good enough to not go back there and hold the ball and get sacked and take a negative play. He's going to get it out of there quick, and if he has to run, he has to run. And he's, again, kind of made that same like dipsy-do move on the sideline where, maybe looked like he's running out of bounds to stop the clock, and then he slips down there and ends up getting into field goal range. So, those guys are really resourceful. They know how to do those things. But look, the Chiefs have won games this year in a kicking game. They've won it on defense where they've made stops, and they won it yesterday with a kicker who never kicked for him before. So, I think there's definitely a confidence in a mentality, but it's also situational football of knowing, what you can execute and how to do it. And I think that the special teams coach, Dave, Todd does a great job there, as does Andy and Coach Nagy and Spags and all that, of knowing what their guys can do. Like, what is field goal range for a new kicker? What can we get from this guy? Where do we need to be? And Mahomes gets him to that point, and he makes it. So it's it's knowing what you need to do at the right time and then being able to do it.
It's fun to watch. Some teams have it, some teams don't. Man, it'd be cool to be fans of those guys.
Yeah, I'd say.
Ladies go ahead.
But I think team is the key word. Team's the key word. It's not one guy. Mahomes doesn't play defense. Chris Jones doesn't play offense. Whoever doesn't. I mean, Kelsey doesn't kick. You've got to have a balanced team. You've got to have people to step in and make those plays when you need them to. And Washington could have used somebody to cover kicks. Dallas could have used somebody to stop McLaurin. You got to be able to make those plays at critical times. And that game went back and forth. Big onside kick recovery in the Chicago game. Kept them alive. But that hands team, look, that's a team you use how many times a year? Maybe 2-3 times a year. But if you make that play, you win the game. You win the game. And if you don't make that play, then you're putting yourself in a position where you lose it. And so here's an example where the guys on the front line are going up the block and the ball's not even going 10 yards, and so naturally it hits guys that are blocking. They don't see it, and so now it's a live ball.
Coach, what's the rule there? Because isn't he defenseless if he doesn't choose to engage? Like, Bears guy's not allowed to hit Vikings guy in that 10 yards, right? If he comes in there, unless Vikings guy chooses to hit the Bears guy.
Yeah, well, the Minnesota players go ahead and block, and then as they're blocking, the ball hits them because they're looking to block, expecting the ball to go more than 10 yards. But, when teams are going up the block like this and you kick it right into the blockers, then, there's a chance that it could hit one of them, which is what happens here.
I think if he was to go up and just act like he was catching it, I think he's not allowed to get hit in those first 10 yards.
Until he touches it.
Yeah, until he touches it. The guy on the Vikings, the guy that gets hit with that ball, if he does not engage in hitting that guy and acts like he's getting ball, they're not allowed to hit him. He's like a free. But since he engaged with contact, then now he's allowed to get hit or whatever.
Yeah, to Coach's point, you're only doing that three times a year, and your job is, hey, I got to block one, I got to block two. So that's all he's thinking about. He's not even looking at the ball doing the.
It's a great onside kick.
Great onside
kick. Great onside.
Well, yeah, there's two strategies on that. It's put your two best ball recovery guys. Like, here's Jefferson down here. Put your two best and let the other guys block and let them recover the ball, or put your best ball handlers up there. But then if they kick it past the ball handlers, they're not necessarily your best blockers. So, you decide to do it one way or the other. But I'm just saying, when you go and block the kicking team, if you kick the ball short and it hits them, then this is what can happen. If you kick it deeper than 10 yards, then they go block the guys and they leave it for Jefferson or Kelsey or the ball recovery guy to handle. So, but again, it's just the execution in that play. If you execute that play and get the ball, you win the game. And if you don't, then they've got the ball at midfield with a chance to beat you.
27.
If you're on that team, then that's the most important job in the world for you when that play comes up, because the game's on the line.
27-16, 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
And it ends up going to overtime, obviously. Great execution by Chicago, then great will to win there by the Vikings. Hey, we can't wait to watch it tonight, Coach. It's going to be a blast on the Manning Cast.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, this should be a good one tonight, the Harbaugh Bowl. Hopefully the lights won't go out.
Amen. Shout out to New Orleans. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Bill Belichick.
Hey,
All right. Hey, sounds like he likes the Chargers tonight.
Yeah.
Didn't
Oh, that's what you got?
Is that what you heard?
He slid in that. I don't know. The Ravens could win by 3 touchdowns if they don't make mistakes.
If they put it together.
Exactly.
If they piece it together. No Roquan Smith is wild.
Yeah, it's huge.
You know, that feels like a wild move. But it's like, that's out of respect for Roquan Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also out of respect for the Ravens team. But I think, like, the reason why I heard him saying the Chargers is because he was pretty matter of fact about Chargers and pretty questionable about the Ravens. Now, he's not giving out picks, and I don't think he'd ever sign up for that. But it sounded like he made a lot of arguments that he's pro-Chargers, in my eyes.
I agree. Well, and he was talking about like the penalties. Like it was all like, hey, if they clean everything up, yeah, the Ravens like could beat everybody by 3 touchdowns. But they have been doing that all year, and I don't think there's reason to believe that just. I mean, I suppose they could, but you wouldn't think that all of a sudden tonight they're not going to be penalized at all. They're going to play unbelievable pass defense. Like there's a chance like the stuff that has kind of been biting them in the ass all year will bite them in the ass tonight.
If we could look up some home dog stats on this home winning record dog stats, you know, I don't know how we even get to that. That's a lot of certainly.
Some
But like,
Somebody's probably put it up.
Chargers have won a lot of games, dude. It's like it's not easy to win games. Carolina Panthers almost just beat the Chiefs. Chargers have won a lot of games. They've been able to, you know, get the job done. So getting 2.5 at home, it's like this feels.
Give me that.
He said the Ravens too. Bill doesn't feel like the Ravens are going to light up the scoreboard. So you going to take that under?
Yeah, everything he was saying was like likes Chargers, and I guess under 50.5 might be the right play as well with what Bill was saying. And I saw his commercial this weekend, I think, where he is giving out.
Oh yeah, the underdog one. Yep.
Yeah, I think they are going to score.
He's going to score.
touchdowns.
He's going to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Giving out picks?
Well, it was on a commercial. Him saying to friends who are gamblers, he was saying, "Yeah, I think he is going to do well this week." And the guy goes,
Conversation.
Still got
He
it.
do the whole thing in the entirety of it, but 50.5's a lot.
Yeah, Baltimore to LA too. I don't know. I mean, it's a primetime game on a Monday, so it might not affect him as much. But that's some serious travel to be doing too.
They haven't. Was it a bye week? They haven't played since the Steeler game.
Yes, they must have been on a bye.
So last.
Because it confused me with the Thursday.
Saying that's good or bad?
Thursday?
No,
No, it's
it's
good
last Sunday.
Last Sunday.
Yeah, it was last Sunday at 1.
Yeah.
Also not a bye week.
Feels like forever.
Yeah.
Think about how much shit has happened since. Legitimately.
Yeah.
It is like you calculate in college football.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So I think about this on Friday nights. So Friday nights I have like the rundown for what game day is going to be, and I sit in my room and I just go through it, and I like do research on what the games were that just happened, and I like look at like a highlight package of the game from last week. I'm like, this was last week? That was one. And then you get things from like 2 weeks ago. It was like, oh my God, that feels like that was 5 months ago. But then you start piecing, wow, this season's really flown by. Or already, it's a weird thing. This football world is a weird one because storylines can change overnight. Teams in the NFL can be Super Bowl bound or sell team bound in 2 weeks, in a 2-week span. Football's bananas this year. It's been awesome to follow.
Well, and like when we get to this point in the season, it's not just the game, so we're not just talking about what happened. Like we get what happened with like the Jets and the Giants. Like that stuff is starting to happen on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So you'll get like a GM get fired. The Daniel Jones thing will happen. A head coach will get fired. So it makes it seem like, you know, you got like these 10 different events that happen in between. Yeah, exactly. Like in between the weeks. So it's like it is crazy trying to keep everything, you know, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news from a Yinzer. Ethan Good went and measured the hill. He said 44 feet, just walked it off.
There you go.
12 feet shorter than what was being reported.
Boom.
In between the Hampton Inn and Dino's where Jay Leno busted face.
Thank you, Ethan.
That's even got a little crook in that thing, too. You got to keep that straight for the tightest line. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. Goodbye. Okay, so let's take a break. On the other side, we got a couple segments.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we got the overreaction tweets, which I can't wait for. Got the number 2 trending on X. We appreciate it.
Hell
I
yeah.
believe it was at one point too, though.
Okay, I did not see that, but hell yeah.
Boom.
Shout out to football doing its thing. We appreciate everybody participating. Had some good ones.
Oh, yeah.
This week had some very, very good ones. Ty had been kind of, I don't want to say bummed out about the last couple of weeks, but they made me laugh. This week, Ty says they're good ones. I'm like, I cannot wait to see these. Once again, none of us see which ones Ty picks until they roll up on the screen. Very excited about that. And we also have a new segment.
Ooh.
Things that make us say,
and that's why we love it.
and it's going to be an NFL edition. It's our favorite things that happened yesterday from around the NFL. Can't wait for you guys to see it, and then we'll make our official picks. Debo, you already know which way you're going for tonight?
I do not.
Really?
I did come
Chargers
in.
faithful?
I'm
Come
waffling.
on.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
waffling right
Come on,
now.
dude. Bold
What's
up.
that, Tone?
Teams, I just did it. Teams with a winning record that are dogs at home against the spread are 9-9.
Okay.
Okay.
It tells us nothing.
Even Steven.
Okay. Thank you, Tone. I appreciate that. Now we know.
Yep.
Now we know that nothing that has happened this season should indicate what would potentially happen this evening. It's coin flip. You tell us. AJ, you know which way you're going?
Yeah, I have a good idea.
All right, be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life, like our friends at Dude Wipes. Shout out the new water bottle, by the way.
Oh, hell
sweet.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, so that water's cold for days.
Amen.
And you know what? The company that's on the front of it will deliver you whatever the hell you need any day,
That's right.
anytime. All right, be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change your life. Take 5.
Tonight is a night where everything's going to be remembered. Every play, every sweat, every fight.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I will soon. Know as a child back in the womb.
Hey, let's have a national championship Monday, huh?
My name is Pat McAfee. I've started this show 2 different occasions already. This will be the 3rd. Wow. It's 2023. We eat adversity for lunch. There's just so many different forms of gummies coming in my mouth.
Boss man, can you do a kickflip?
100 for it? 100 for it?
Oh!
Come on, bro. That was awesome.
Hey, this little teddy bear is cool. This little round thing. Sweet. All right, I feel pretty good for this ESPN party. Let's go have a blast in there. Boom. Need you to do a red carpet. I've never done a red carpet before.
I got to poop, sorry.
I don't know if now's the time.
We're invited to the ESPN party, and now we are all sitting on a red carpet. We had no idea this was coming, obviously. We thought we were just getting some free drinks.
A lot of people on the internet say I look tired. What's that all about? I'm a massive fan of Posner. He was giving motivational speeches in between songs. He was playing other people's songs. He was telling people to stay down. We're going to make a moment. Only on the count of 3, we're going to go crazy.
Oh, I know. Sad song. Sad song.
Oh, oh yeah.
A couple of these. Bring it up. Bring it up.
Boost up. What do you like?
What'd you do?
Gotta make it back this game, baby. It's gotta last until 9 o'clock.
Happy birthday, sack of shit.
Yeah.
So fired up to be here.
Yeah.
I got a necktie and everything.
Holy shit. Tim Tebow's here. Oh my God.
Look at that cut.
The most handsome shot in our show's history. Nick Saban has been spotted at SoFi.
Great work in the back. Fox team boys crushed it. Now we got game day, then the mega cast. Let's go. Hey, let's have a night.
Obviously, the enemy of great is good. The enemy of a dynasty is winning one championship and letting it go. Fran, you're obviously going to Colorado, a place that's been looking for some sort of championship for 20 years. You're also one of the greatest speakers I've ever heard. What are you saying to your team?
You can't get here and all of a sudden change.
Yeah.
You don't want to see a different mannerism of somebody, and especially the coaches. See, everybody's talking about the players, but you got to coach the coaches too.
Did you smile there too?
I saw.
Were you smiling?
I saw.
I do that every now and then. The rat poison, smiling. That's embedded fourth quarter perfection. Matthew Stafford, fourth quarter perfection. Big moments, Tebow perfection. We got some real magic here tonight, don't we? And I love that toad that takes those mushrooms and eating them. With that being said, Stetson Bennett's 25 years old. He's so damn comfortable. Darnell Washington's the backup tight end. He's 6'7", 270. Brock Bowers, best player on the field. The defense full of dogs. Give me the Georgia Bulldogs. Go back-to-back. First time since this man and his Alabama squad. I love the Bulldogs tonight, barking all over the place, Coach.
Alright, here we go, huh? A little bit of rush from old game day down in the field. We went all the way to the roof to come back. We are so sorry. Alright, let's roll. I gotta get to the sleep. And then I'm gonna hop over the sleep thing. Look, man.
You are looking at SoFi Stadium, where we'll be crowning a national champion for our college football season tonight. And the Dogs are on the board early. Wide open.
That's the shot that they wanted, baby.
Oh, Stetson Bennett with his second touchdown in the first half.
Oh, no.
Georgia's first down. One-handed. Touchdown. Brock Bowers. Touchdown. It is currently 45-7. It is 52-7. Touchdown.
Jeez. This is just a good old back home ass whooping.
It's a blowout, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Hey-o. That son of a bitch, Uga, is having the night of his life.
Wow.
It's raining indoors in Los Angeles. This is God taking a tinkle on something magical, isn't it? Let's get that.
Get him on camera.
That mustache.
Holy smoke.
Holy smokes.
Are you a firefighter?
Good for you, bro. Thanks for your service. First down, Horned Frogs on a 2nd and 3. Why don't we call a game? Holy hell, Tim Tebow is coming. Tebow, we're live.
We're on.
We're live right now. Welcome back to SoFi Stadium. Right before the break, an extra point almost killed Tim Tebow. Natural instincts had to take in place. I could not lose the greatest human on earth, and I'm happy they gave you that ball, Tim. Tone, act like you're Sonny Dykes, please.
All right, boss. First half didn't go our way. We're doing this for the great state of Texas. You know who else was down 31 points?
Who's that?
The Italians.
All right, let's take the tractor another round. What are you watching out there, Coach?
Honestly, they're better off grabbing Luka Doncic out of the crowd and maybe lining him up next to Quentin Johnson at receiver. Because they can't do a damn thing.
We decided Tebow here, formerly known as praying for this TCU team to do something. So you put your hands up, play that song, butterflies fly away. Thank you for your service, sir. You're a badass, man.
Those other Americans, I wouldn't be here.
What a run, huh? The boys crushed it. This shit
TCU sucks.
Be so mean all the time.
What?
That's all she wrote for college football season. What a year. Let's fucking get home.
Probably the most interesting trade was the Randy Moss trade. After the draft, the first day of the draft, we've been trying to trade for Randy Moss for 2 months. All like childbirth. I mean, it took forever. After the first day of the draft, I talked to Mr. Davis. I said, are we going to make a deal or not? And he said, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it for your 4th. And I think we were picking like 7th in the 4th round. I said, well, we got to get the guy for a physical. We can't take his contract. We're going to have to renegotiate his contract. And Mr. Davis said, well, that's your problem. If you want to trade for him, then you get it done. I said, all right. I call up Randy. Hey, Randy, it's Coach Belichick. Boom. Hangs up the phone.
What?
Let me try this again. Randy, it's Coach Belichick. Who is this? Who's pranking me? Who is this? Bam. Hangs up the phone. Randy, this is Coach Belichick. We traded for you. What? Is this a joke? This better not be a joke. Who is this? No. This is, all right. Really? I said, yeah, but look, we got to get this done by tomorrow at noon. He goes, all right, what do I need to do? I said, you need to come up and take a physical, and we need to renegotiate your contract. It's by noon? Yeah. He goes, well, I'm in Houston now, but I got a plane. I'll be there.
Nice.
He flies, and he's there at 8 o'clock in the morning, comes in and takes the physical. You know, the old,
Yeah. Make sure he's live.
okay, you're good. Renegotiate the contract. We're done at 10 o'clock. And first thing he says to me is, where's the playbook?
Oh, that's awesome.
I said, right here. He said, okay, because when I walk out there with the first team with Brady, I got to know all the plays. I can't go out there and make mental errors and screw up. I got to know his offense. And he was smart now. This guy was smart. On this post-safety coverage, what are you going to do? He goes, Coach, you ain't going to see any post-safety coverage against me. Like, oh. He goes, you're going to see cover 2. We haven't seen cover 2 in years. He's like, you're going to see cover 2. And he was right. And then he would say, well, here's how I'd run this route. Here's how I'd run that route. And I started thinking, like, we got to start giving Randy some routes. We're running this, and they play cover 2. How we can move him into the slot. He's like, move me into the slot. I said, yes, you can get in the middle and cover 2. He's like, all right, good. 25 touchdowns.
So many.
Yeah, opens up the running game, too.
I'm telling you, it was... Randy, come on, man. I'm trying to...
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. You ping!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Hello, beautiful
beautiful people. Happy Thanksgiving week, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this massive Overreaction Monday, November 25th, 2024. Hour 3 of the program starts now. Football! It is amazing. It's wide open. There's so much happening. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys AP Tone is here. And, ladies and gentlemen, a 9-year NFL vet who always looks incredibly cool. You can catch him in a G1 race. Mm-hmm. Or you can catch him on ESPN.
The channel.
Matchup.
ESPN2.
It's on
Plus.
Yeah, Plus.
For NFL matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler. We appreciate you, D. Butch.
Appreciate you.
We're incredibly lucky that we get to cover NFL football all day, every day. I think we don't get a chance to display the reasons why we love the league and the sport as much. So we created a segment, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Things That Make Us Say, That's Why We Love It, the NFL edition. I will start. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, if you watched the Vikings and the Chicago Bears, you would see the Vikings come off to a massive lead. They'd actually be up 27-16 with 30 seconds left in the entire game. Then the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, would throw a touchdown to Keenan Allen. Then they would recover an onside kick. Then he'd throw a strike over the middle. Then Cairo Santos would hit a game tire. Then, in overtime, Sam Darnold would go bananas, and the Minnesota Vikings would inevitably end up winning the game, continuing their magical season. But they had to battle through some adversity. Listen to what Coach Kevin O'Connell had to say to the team afterwards, and think to yourself, that's why we love NFL football. Where's the nearest wall, please?
All right, I want to finish with this. All right,
Voice
road
crack
wins
early.
in the NFC North are hard. They're hard. All right, momentum can swing any which way, and you can flinch anytime you want. And it would be like, okay, maybe that's all right. But that. All right, we are on a grind and a mission the rest of this season. Every minute, every hour we work, we know we're chasing something special. And I cannot wait to do it every day with you guys. This is the most special group I've ever been around. Player for player, coach, every human being in here. I love this group, but we got to know something. Too much is given, much is required. We got to grind this thing out. You guys be ready to play 3 straight at US Bank Stadium. And go bring the noise. Every single week, we rock and roll. Sam Darnold, you got it.
Okay. Ready to run through a wall. It's those moments that are magical. They just get a massive win. AFC North or NFC North win. The entire NFC North is good. And his message is, hey, we got everything still in front of us. And that's why I love the NFL. Con man?
I'm a big shit talker. I love seeing the shit talk. I love division matchups. I love watching quarterbacks especially. Kind of get into it with some of these D linemen. And in Denver from Denver in Las Vegas, Tyree Wilson and Bo Nix had some sort of exchange. I don't know what Tyree Wilson said. I know it was something very mean because Bo Nix said, hey, you don't say that, with his eyes wide open. I do believe he actually said, I don't fear anything. I'm not afraid of anything. Even the ref had to come in here and say, whoa, Tyree, relax. You can't say that. I'm not sure what it was, but I love the fire. I love the fact that Bo Nix seemingly already is an absolute nuclear weapon on the football field, and the fact that his eyes are wide open like that, and he loves the shit talk with Tyree Wilson, makes me say, that's why I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, I saw something yesterday that wasn't just my favorite thing from Sunday. It might be my favorite thing from ever watching football in the NFL.
What's that?
Okay, let's go down to Houston. We got the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis does something that he's been, adept at doing this year. He throws a pick six to Jimmy Ward, but look at him. He puts his head down and says, fuck that. I'm going to run as fast as I can and as hard as I can to the end zone. Did it matter? Did he tackle him? No, absolutely not. But guess what? You put your heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears out on the field like that, the universe is going to find you, and good things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And the Titans come back, and they win that football game. Wow. And seeing that just made me think, and that's why I love it.
I love the fact that, 40-yard dash, you see the guy head down, first 10 yards. He knew that big dome of his, that massive brain, would definitely get in the way of the aerodynamics if he wanted to catch the guy. Now, does he know if he's going on the right line or not because he doesn't have his head up? No. Does he know that he's got 2 lead blockers that he's got no chance to beat? No. All he knows is he's got to be the fastest that he's ever been. Mm-hmm. So he puts his head down and starts trying out. Knee drive, arm swing. Knee drive, arm swing. Mm-hmm. Didn't count, but the football gods noticed.
That's right.
And they get a massive win. Congrats to Will Levis.
Yeah, Will.
Hey, and that's why we love it. Tone, your thoughts.
Pat, as an Italian American who, I'm always wearing the Italian horn. I'm always wearing the Malloy. Okay, I love a good shine on the what.
I was just making sure it popped out because it does look like there's a little bit of a bunch there. I didn't know.
I mean, there's a couple on there, so it doesn't matter. So anytime that a light has shined on our proud Italian heritage, like Baker Mayfield did yesterday, with the celebration after his rushing touchdown, where he took a good shot, but he got in and he was so pumped. Now, was it? Did he actually, was it a ode to Tommy Cutlets? I don't know, because I kind of agree with Anzalone. He was a little too aggressive with it. It's kind of like when you guys do it and you're boppity.
No,
what do you mean you guys?
We do. I took a 23 and me, unlike him. And
true.
Granted, it kind of scares me at this point in life, but it is 0.01% of the entire thing. I have a horn as well. I don't get to wear it because it's not the same size of the chain that I wear. But listen, I'm all about the mozzarella.
So you're doing it right now. You're doing it just like Baker does. No actual Italian does that. Okay?
No, yeah, I'm 0.01%.
Hey,
what are you talking about?
No one does it like we're here. Okay, we're I mean, it's down here. We're never like. I mean, maybe I guess.
Well, we're not excited. I thought we were an excited group.
I don't care. It shined a light on us Italian Americans, and that's why I love it.
I love everything about that. D-Butch, how about you? Anything that made you say that's why we love it?
You know, we had a big dog. You had a big dog in your suite. You know, had to holler at you, Robert Goodell.
Yeah,
Roger Goodell, not Robert. I'm sorry.
His brother Robert was there.
Yeah, his brother Robert was there. Whole family was there. Look. Dynamic kickoff. That was a big talk. We talked about it all year coming in. Hey, we want more kickoffs. We want more big plays. We talked about the guys lining up and where the kicker would be. How it would be if you get a fast motherfucker back there returning it and hit that gate. So we had Turbin, 99 yards. Now, that kicker, he had a rough day.
Yeah,
Line drive, he muffed it. And, I mean, he hit this thing, get up there and hit this B button like you on Matt. Hit that gate, out of the gate. R3, keep your edge, keep your leverage, and absolutely out of the gate. This is what you want. For a Cowboys team, I know a lot of Cowboys fans out there, they've kind of kicked this season away. They've kind of thrown it away. I love to see the players still out there giving all they got in Turbin. I mean, it's just a phenomenal play. Once again, you don't see this on many college fields, let alone an NFL field. Guy hitting a spin like that, making everybody look absolutely silly. So, dynamic kickoff. That's why I love it.
Yeah, I love that. And I did talk to Commissioner Goodell about it, and he said they're going to continue the conversation this offseason or whatever. And I mentioned to him, I was like, you know, there was a thought that the 30 wouldn't be a big enough punishment. He said, we're taking it all into consideration, which was very cool. I also told him, like, hey, the weather is about to potentially affect this. You know, we saw it on Thursday night. Weren't able to make it in there. There's going to be some weather that's going to come. I think there's something happening. No, I'm not getting into it. I think our weather is going to be weather's going to be
quite a nightmare.
Yeah, I think there is. I don't know.
I love weather, so I can't wait
this
to hear
weekend.
Weather. No, just in general. I think there's going to be a little bit of a too many memes.
You know.
What's real? What's not real? You know, if Elon posted, is it? I think.
Who knows?
I don't know. You know, there's a whole conversation. Anyways, the weather could become a factor for these kickoffs. We might see more of them.
Okay.
And anytime you muff a ball like that, the coverage team is natural, even though they're starting only 30 yards away, naturally like kind of holds up a little bit because they think the play's almost over or something like that. Instead, he sets it up like it's a punt return, and then boom, that type of explosion is what we want to see. That's why the kickoff return was wanted back so bad. So I hope we continue to work.
One guy there lane is over. He hit that crease. It's a wrap.
Okay, let's stay in things that make us say that's why we love it when it comes to the NFL, and we'll stay in special teams. Spencer Schrader hitting that game winner for the Kansas City Chiefs. The fact that he, signed with the Chiefs this past week. This guy, he was on a practice squad, could have stayed with the New York Jets. Instead, he joins the Chiefs and becomes a great kicker. Like, we've seen a lot of people miss. I'm assuming Spencer Schrader's always had it in him to be great. That is why he's on a team. As soon as he puts the Chiefs helmet on, it's like, yep, that's a no-doubter right there. That is a pure ball right through the middle in a battle. Had to make a couple. It's like, I'm happy for Spencer Schrader signing on like a Tuesday, hitting a game winner on a Sunday, and now a team has a chance to make history forever. That type of roster rotation, that type of opportunity showing up out of nowhere when history's on the line, that's why we love it. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, shit talking after the play is cool, and Bo Nix showed that very well. But what about during the play? Jahmyr Gibbs, during his second touchdown, walking in here, turns around to Womack as he's about to cross the goal line, hold my dick. Now, he didn't do the hold my dick celebration in entirety, but it did seem as though he almost gestured saying, you really think you're going to catch me? No, you're not. He did get a 15-yarder for it. Doesn't matter. matter. Bates knocked it through. That's probably why he did that. Yeah, suck it. Sorry, not catching me. Okay. That's my second. Bates still knocked it in after that 15-yarder, and Gibbs is an absolute nuclear weapon. The MCDC postgame was incredible, and more so the reason I love it is because after teams play the Lions, they get killed. They usually lose, and unfortunately for the Colts, after this Lions game, they got to travel up to New England to play the Patriots. So them losing, Gibbs talking shit, and of course the Patriots inevitably beating the Colts after losing to the Lions is why I love it.
Okay, the Indianapolis Colts, different team. Now they had to take the wagon on. They're the Lions. The Lions been doing that to a lot of teams. That's how it goes. But against the Patriots, it's a good one.
Yeah, big one.
It's a good one for the Colts.
Yeah.
This is a good one for the Still have everything in front of them.
Yeah, they're going to need this one.
The Indianapolis Colts still have everything in front of them.
Don't want to lose this one.
Lose this one, we don't have everything in front of us.
Yeah.
But
it's over.
And by us, I mean the Colts. Ty, what's another reason why you love it?
There's few things I love more than seeing a physical specimen from the University of Iowa just wrecking shop on an NFL football field, especially when he plays for the Green Bay Packers. Lucas Van Ness, first-round pick from a couple years ago, just launches Christian McCaffrey like a fucking rag doll. Get out of here. I know you're jacked. And then, boom, gets his helmet in there and forces a fumble on Brandon Allen, who's stumbling and slipping all over the pocket. The Packers traded Preston Smith, and everyone was saying, hey, these guys are, they're giving up. Why are they sellers at the deadline? It's because we got that fucking physical specimen, that big white son of a bitch waiting in the wings. He finally made an impact. This was kind of the punctuation mark that ended this game, and he's the type of player who can propel the Packers to have the season that they want. And he's also the type of player, every time I watch him, I just say, God damn, that's why I love it.
Go ahead, John.
I started this thing with Baker, and I'm going to end this thing with Baker on my side.
Jeez.
Yeah. Up 30-7 in the fourth quarter, hands it off to Bucky Irving. So, he's just hanging out. And then, Bucky breaks it. And then, look who's back. Baker Mayfield, 45 yards down the field, throwing blocks so that Bucky Irving can get another 20 yards. That's Baker Mayfield football. And that's, since he's been to Bucs, been one of my favorite players of all time in the NFL. And that's why we love it.
I love everything about that. I did not see that play.
Yeah.
That's late in that game.
Yep.
I
23.
Wow, still in there. It's a little Ohio State.
That's right.
That's a little Ohio State there for the Giants. I love that out of Baker Mayfield. Hey, Paisano, Baker Mayfield. Paisano. D-Butts, what's the last thing that makes this group say that we love it?
Man, speaking of teams with everything in front of them, Miami Dolphins. It's hard to look around the league and find a player, a quarterback specifically, that means more to their team. Tua, we're just beating the absolute shit out of the Patriots. So you know what? How about we just stop playing football for a play? We play a little basketball, a little no-look pass. You know what type of nuts you got to have to do some shit like this in the middle of the NFL game to Jalen Wright around the corner for the first down. That ball handling right there, Paul's unbelievable. And anytime you watch this Dolphins team and one's taking a snap, you're reminded. That's why I love it.
Yeah, you're damn right. The Dolphins' offense with Tua at the helm is electrifying. And the not even looking free fall of the ball in the middle of an NFL game has a lot of trust, obviously. I think he gets a glimpse at him here. But just assuming he's going to catch that, assuming he's going to be there all bought in, that's Miami Dolphins football whenever Tua's playing. And that's football as a whole.
Hell yeah.
And that's why we love it, baby.
Hell yeah.
Joining us again from Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, you see anything that makes you say that's why you love it from that rundown there?
I tell you what, both of Baker's plays were amazing. I love him blocking down the field, though, and also having the awareness to turn back and block. What sometimes drives me crazy if a guy gets a pick and guys are running, they're all looking forward, and no one looks behind, and a guy gets caught from behind. So, yeah, great job. Obviously, effort by Baker. Bake just is having fun, isn't he? He's just having fun out there.
Yeah, he says everything's spontaneous.
That's right.
The grazie, mozzarella, linguine, chicken bone, meat lasagna.
Very aggressive. Very aggressive.
It is like he's giving a middle finger with without doing it. So Anzalone's tweet was certainly fair. Whenever he said, a little too aggressive for my liking, which I respect and appreciate. But Baker Mayfield's going to do that.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
We should have known that was coming as soon as we saw Baker Mayfield versus Tommy Cutlets.
That's right.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy. Remember, he walked the sideline before a game in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Walking
that was the best.
Yeah,
that was the best.
That's Baker Mayfield football.
Yeah.
He needs to take 23andMe and show that he is Just a tiny bit of
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Mayfield Vecchio.
And then come out there. Yeah, maybe it is. Mayfieldini, you know, there's an opportunity. Okay, let's go to, let's make some official picks, and then we'll end this thing with overreactions. Tonight, the Ravens still
Yes, it hasn't changed.
favored by 2.5. In SoFi against the Los Angeles Chargers, who are a damn good football team. Damn good football team. This ain't last year's Chargers team. This ain't 3 years Chargers team.
No.
This is this year's Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, or best friends led Chargers football team. And then the Baltimore Ravens, obviously everybody loves everything about their team. The way they pieced it together, this is a Super Bowl contender automatically. Lamar Jackson's playing his best ball. Defense always going to be good, right? Isn't defense always going to be good? They have all the weapons on earth on the offensive side. They can beat down teams whenever, however they want. Special teams had a go to kicker. Still going to be remembered as one of the GOATs no matter what happens. But it seems like he can't shake a little bit of a stink that is currently coming off of his ball whenever he kicks it. Tonight could be the night it all changes, though. In prime time, that'd be very Justin Tucker of Justin Tucker to hit a big one tonight and send the whole world back into, oh, yeah, we forgot Justin Tucker was the guy. And it's crazy that we're even talking about that, but that's what points are like in this type of game. The hard bowl, the Harbaughs, hard-nosed football team. Over-under 50.5 feels like a lot. Feels like a lot of points. Darius J. Butler?
Man.
Hold on, let's see how me and AJ did this weekend. Ooh.
Here we go.
Age, you got one. You got a chance. You got a chance, Age. All right, so D-Butt, I think what you're going to say is going to sway potentially both of us.
AJ already knows.
Yeah, that's what he said. Should we have AJ go first?
Nah.
All right, D-Butt, who you like?
Good. Damn, two good teams, two great coaches. You know these guys are going to show up. Be prepared. 2.5 points, getting 2.5 at home. You talked about the kicker. Every year coming into this year, I would take Tucker over whoever else is kicking the ball outside. But this year, I'm taking the Dicker the kicker. I think it will be a field goal game. I think the Chargers will pull it out at home. Wow. Ravens can play defense. They get after the quarterback, top 3 in the league in sacks, but covering guys down the field, Marlon Humphrey, Lad McConkey will be a great matchup. But I'm going with the Chargers. Bold up tonight, baby.
Okay, Chargers plus 2.5. He said he was waffling. I think we all thought he was going to be doing that.
Yeah.
He's a waffle.
We all thought he was going to do that.
Yeah, end on the Chargers.
We thought he was going to end on Chargers regardless. Were you waffling for real? You thought it was Ravens?
I was thinking back and forth. Roquan being out is, I think, a big deal. You know, your signal caller being out, that's a big deal.
That is a big deal. Now, did they know all week so they were able to prepare? Probably, but nonetheless, still not out there, a big force to be missed. AJ Hawk, who do you like?
Man, I started out very confident in the Chargers here. I feel like going in, I felt like this was a game that they're going to win. I'm not as much worried about the 2.5, and I'm glad they're getting it. And I'm going to stick with that, honestly. J.K. Dobbins, Justin Herbert, I trust them. And as D-Butt said, having Roquan out, Kyle Hamilton on the defense, that worries me a bit. So, yes, give me the Chargers at home.
Are you sure? You sure you don't want the Ravens? Be nice.
Yeah,
I'm
not really waffling right now. And then Bill saying that the Ravens aren't going to be able to, they're not going to put up a bunch of points on this Chargers D as well. Just kind of put the nail in the coffin for me.
Okay, so you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Will you put the record up from the weekend again, please? Just 5-6, 6-5. Okay.
All comes down.
So then it means you have to.
I'm on the Ravens tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, I got faith in the Ravens. This is who I wanted the whole time. The whole time. This is who I wanted the whole time. You're on the Chargers. I'm on the Ravens. You're on the Chargers.
I think Kyle Hamilton is playing.
He is. Yeah, he is playing.
Oh, okay.
Hamilton.
Okay.
His name is
That's good
Kyle
for you.
Baller Hamilton. Yeah, you're damn right. I can't wait to watch him do his thing. Favored by 2.5. Should have been 10. Should have been 10.
J.K. Dobbins.
Should we get 10? Should me and D-Butt get 10?
No. 2.5 is where we'll stay. We'll stay at 2.5.
Oh.
Boy, I really just want to pick the Chargers. Because I like Chargers. But I have to pick Ravens.
You got to go Ravens.
Bet with Lamar.
Coming off a
I love
loss.
Lamar.
You got to feel good about it.
I fucking love Lamar.
Yeah.
They have to win.
What am I talking? Who am I talking about? In Ricard?
Off a loss.
Oh, man.
Van Noy probably has a big game with Roquan out, too. Kind of a revenge game played for the Chargers.
Man, you're right. I'm happy about it. I mean, it was kind of forced on me, but I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Now that it all kind of happens, you know? Let's get some overreactions. This is what I've been waiting for.
There's some good ones.
I've been waiting all day for these tweets. Ladies and gentlemen, I put out a bird call this morning. I said, hello. Welcome to another glorious Overreaction Monday. I'd like to hear your thoughts. You can utilize the post as therapy. You won't be judged. No. You'll actually be celebrated. Best ones in Ty Schmidt's eyes will make the program. What are the ones? Well, those are the tweets that utilize hashtag I don't want to overreact, but it was in abundance this morning. I believe it ended up being the number one trend on X for a little bit. That's what the boys are saying. So thank you to all who participated.
Hell yeah.
We appreciate the hell out of you. We are so incredibly lucky to do this. Ty Schmidt went through them. These are his favorites. This one's from Con Man. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but rooting for a poopy football team is, and I can't stress this enough, the fucking worst. We'll always go down with the ship, but boarding the Titanic, knowing you will hit a glacier every single week is a nightmare. Parentheses, Patriots 2024 Super Bowl is this Sunday versus the Colts, and I can't wait to be hurt again, parentheses. Okay, Con Man, you were looking ahead to the draft there for a little bit.
Sure.
Now you're kind of finding yourself in purgatory. We're getting our ass beat. That's embarrassing, but good for the draft. Why do you feel this way?
Yeah, it just stinks. I don't know how people have done this for this long. This is like my fourth bad football season I've had to experience, and it really is a nightmare. I truly have a more respect for Browns fans, for Lions fans of the past, for people that are consistently or were consistently rooting for a terrible team. The Colts, perhaps. But in the end, when I think about it as a whole, you know, the college football season, you know, we are very close to the end of it already. You know, championship games for conferences are next weekend. That's wild to think about. Then you think about, you know, football season, 2 weeks, whatever. Then you think about football season, and that also kind of stinks. Football season coming to an end. We're only talking about 10, 12, 13 teams now because of the fact that we're this far in the season. So I thought, you know what, I might as well find solace in specific games. One of them will be, for sure, this game. More so specifically because Patriots have a bye week 14. So after this is kind of the season's basically over for New England. It has been for a while, but, you know, zeroing in on the Colts, I feel like this would be a good one to strap up the helmet, kind of really sit there, live and die with every play as if it was a Super Bowl, and that's just kind of where I'm at. And then we can set our eyes to the draft.
Mayo was a part of the Colts-Patriots rivalry, right?
Oh, yeah.
Massive piece of it all. So he'll have
he knows.
I assume the messaging that he'll be sending for a long time. And the Colts come fresh off that Lions game. They'll have a lot to obviously play for. Still everything in front of them. Should be a good game.
Yeah, should be a great game.
Should be. You guys win this game, you should be pumped.
I will be very, very excited.
Because I think Colts should win that game. What is the line?
You still want to win game?
Colts are favored by 2.
Okay. In Foxborough.
In Foxborough.
Colts should win that game.
Yes. I want to win games strictly because it's the Colts.
And
so you want this to be your last?
And I live here.
Last win.
Yeah. So if we go 4-13 with the teams that we have lost to, you assume the Titans might get another win. The Jags maybe sneak out a couple more. We have the tiebreaker over them, so we'll still be higher than them.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're eyeing a top spot in the draft.
I know we're going to be top 8. And that's kind of where I want to be. The higher, the better, just because then we have the ability to.
But also, don't want to get your asses beat on the weekends.
Don't want to get killed at all. But we
got to be close, loss.
Yeah, still have to play the Bills twice. So,
no,
just moral victory.
That'll be fucking real fun after week 14, playing the Bills in December and January.
All right, let's go to the next overreaction, shall we? This one's from Gumpy. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but this is the best ball that Tua has played in his career. See you in the playoffs. Hashtag go Fins. Gumpy, you're feeling good, right, about it?
Oh, yeah.
The way he's playing, like in years past, it's just like the deep ball. Everyone fell in love with the deep ball. The way their offense is going right now, I cannot express. We had him on last week. Jonnu Smith is fucking unbelievable. Like, he's a safety, like, belt whenever he's open, just dunks it down to him. Jalen Waddle, best game by far he's had this season. And just need to get the run game going a little bit more.
We're not waddling anymore?
We were yesterday, 8 for 144, I believe he was.
But he's not doing the waddle anymore?
He said he retired for a little bit. He said
what?
maybe not retired forever, but for a little bit.
Why?
He said it got a little out of hand. People running up to hey, can you do the waddle?
Dance
for me, Jalen.
People were stealing it, too.
What do you mean?
Yeah, Jair Alexander did it on Christmas Day when they beat him.
Oh, mocking him?
Yeah, mocking him.
That won't stop.
Yeah, that's going to happen forever.
That's a compliment, though. If they're doing your celebration, like, hey, you know my celebration, pal.
We would like to let Waddle know that we think that his celebration with his name was one of the greatest in the history of sport.
For sure.
Yeah, great day.
Stephen Ross still doing it up in the booth yesterday.
Oh, he was waddling?
Oh, yeah, he was feeling it.
I thought he was.
Wow, he's doing that next. Waddle into,
Zach
into the Trump
Sealer.
dance.
Zach Sealer did that yesterday, actually.
Hey,
Everybody on the defense.
Sweet new jacket you got on there, pal.
Yeah, I like this one. I really like it. Might wear it every day this week.
Hey, you're in the hunt. You're in the hunt right
We're
now.
alive. That's all you can ask for.
Big one on Thanksgiving against the Packers. What's the temperature going to be?
It's going to be icy, icy cold.
32 degrees and snow, right?
Mm-hmm. At kickoff. Who knows, man? That's an 8:20 kickoff game, so around 10 o'clock, I don't know, we might be talking 25, 24 degrees.
Oh, no. Is that the whole angle for Packers fans?
I mean, they played on, Christmas? Was it last year, Gump, 2 years ago? And beat them when Miami was really hot. So the Packers at this point is just, hey, you just got to keep winning. You just got to keep winning. And I hope Tua stays healthy.
They have a low of 20, I guess, on that particular Thanksgiving Thursday. The Packers and Dolphins will play. It's the best game of the day.
Yes.
Cannot wait to watch it. Gump, are you worried about the frozen conditions? Because I think Tone was about to lay out. 8:20 it starts the game?
Yeah, they're saying 18, 20 degrees, 18 degrees.
And the wind.
Is it going to be windy? Is it windy?
15.
Swirl.
Okay, that'll chill you down a bit.
Drop it down a little bit.
You'll feel so, Gump, are you worried about frozen tundra, Green Bay, being the host of the biggest game of the season? Because you lose, you're out of it, pretty much.
This is what we want. We want a chance to prove people wrong, and you get a chance to do it. And you got to do it.
You should be happy.
Talk your shit, Tua. This is what you wanted. It's time to prove it. Let's win a fucking football game in the cold.
Hey, let's do it.
Why not us?
Hey, let's do it.
Just stats.
Stay safe.
Finns have lost 10 games in a row, 40 degrees or below.
It's going to be a lot colder.
Tua's 0-6.
Yeah, it's going to feel a lot. It's going to feel in the teens, probably.
Yeah.
That's just stats. I remember those himbo stats with Ohio State. And they got what you say. They got to get between lines, get fucking buckle up and go. We'll figure it out.
You're right, D-Bud.
Do you remember how
They
bad
get
Adrian got?
distracted up.
Okay.
Test the odds, baby.
And it turned out to be true that it didn't matter at all. We know that.
That was one of the best moments. Watching you get visibly frustrated. Okay.
No, I rewatched it. I rewatched it. Actually, got more pissed off when I watched it. Why did I let you guys Why did I let you bait me into even having a reaction to that stupid stuff?
I'm not your puppet.
Brought him on early just for that, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, literally just for that stat.
Oh, man.
We appreciate you, AJ. Congrats to your Ohio State Buckeyes. I got kicked off the field.
What do you mean?
I didn't have a credential. I should have got my credential. That was all.
They are pretty strict about that.
Yeah, they are. I was right next to Tom Rinaldi. Good guy. Nice catching up with him. And one of the Redcoats comes.
Peter.
He ate Pat's credential.
Peter?
Yeah, didn't he?
Peter the dog?
Yeah.
I love the videos of Peter, bro, icing that kid. That's some adversity for those kickers. If you can make it with Peter in your face.
How much was it? I forget how much money we got up to for that
500K.
500,000.
Yeah, ton of money.
I forget the exact. This kid, in his mind, he's actually you see him calculate his holy shit. My schooling out of state because he's from Pittsburgh, going to Ohio State. Debt, we're good there. Future, it's obviously we've gotten some messages from some of the people that have won who have obviously sent thank yous.
Life-changing situation, yeah.
It is pretty cool. And it's cool to get those, It's fun because in the moment it's just sweet to watch just have those opportunities pop up. But the reason why I want it to be more money is because I want them to realize
it's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, because that's a part of kicking is hey, make this kick. The entire city that you're in right now is happy. You missed this kick. Every human in here wants to kill you. That is I want the pressure of more money. That's why what Henry did down in Athens is so because I watched his ass lock in on the moment and make the kick. That kid, I don't think he had a chance.
No.
He didn't have a chance. He lined up 3-4 different times.
Yeah, I mean,
he got iced 4 or 5 different times.
Hey, buddy. You're a good dude for sure.
Who?
Put your fucking shoe on, pal.
Oh, the kid Carson, the kid kicking?
This isn't how this works.
Yeah, I don't know why he did no shoe.
Yeah, it doesn't help you.
People on the internet didn't like him. Who? On my Peter. Not Peter, the kicker.
Carson.
You better fucking watch it about Peter.
People loved Peter.
I saw a few people didn't like Peter playing defense.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I saw a lot of people saying that, I got people adding me that I need to thank Peter. And to be clear, I did immediately afterwards. I think if you listen to it, I go, thank you, Peter! And then we move along. Because that kid, I think I did see some people thought he was a little bit too much. Pittsburgh kid.
Well, but Heinrichsen's a little different.
It is a little different. It's a little out
How
there.
so?
They do good.
They make a lot of money.
They do good. I was pumped. I was pumped for him to be a Yinzer, and claim, Pittsburgh and everything. Meeting him, thought he was a nice kid to me. I appreciated him.
Sure.
Him going barefoot, I thought was stupid.
Dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I tried to tell him.
Also, if you're going to do it, lose the sock, kid.
Yeah.
You got to do it. No
The
sock.
soggy
Sock, dude.
I got uncomfortable whenever I saw how soggy the sock was. I was like, man, that would suck.
Yeah,
That's a bad day. Game hadn't even started yet. We're still an hour out from game time. Starting in there. And then you got to go through the whole game and everything else. But
Peter.
Yeah, Peter was chilling, living. He's a good retriever, though. I mean, he's a golden retriever.
Great golden receiver.
He would win a gold in retrieving if there was medals in there. Right there, a ball just got added by a guy named D. Okay, he threw a red ball.
Yep, classic.
Out there. D, good friend of Herbie. I believe he, Ohio State legend as well.
Play slot.
Former fullback, actually.
Oh, fullback.
Now he is body type of a slot receiver. He is slim and fit and thin and ready to go. D's got good juice. D, though, was the one that introduced the red ball. That certainly was the show, this entire thing. That guy sucks.
Gross.
But shout out to Columbus for being a great host.
That's right.
Great host. Wasn't as cold Saturday as it was on Friday.
Friday looked really cold.
Yeah, Friday we were down there in that wind tunnel as well. Yeah.
That was tough.
When Saban came on set. Oh yeah, he was cold in 1 second.
Yeah, he looked so good.
You didn't see what happened whenever we were setting him up. So
it was the best.
This is awesome. So there was water that had fell on those seats. Those seats are over on the side.
Yeah.
There had been some water that fell on the seats. We moved these seats in, right? Like a pit crew. We're trying to move the shit in, boom, 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 with a microphone coming in. And there was like 5 drops of water on his seat. So I take my hoodie and I start drying it. AJ comes over with his sweatshirt, starts drying it. He hits both of us and then flips us both off. And I'm like, all right, okay. Because it was like 5 drops of water. He was so mad. Wasn't he so mad at us?
Oh, the way he looked up at us and how he flicked us off too was like all like it was. He didn't like fully raise it, but he was just so like, get at it. He wanted to punch us both in the face.
Definitely, he knew that we were making a mockery out of the whole situation, and he did not like. He was like, come on, 5 drops."
Well, we were frantically wiping that water off his seat like so fast.
So
yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. I was having a good time with it. I think you were too. You came in.
Oh yeah.
We were doing big. We got you, coach. You get the. It was awesome. Handed over a hand warmer. Here's another situation that happened. So I forgot that I had 3 hand warming packs in my hoodie or whatever, and I completely forgot about it, and I couldn't feel my hands anymore. So I went in there and I felt the plastic. I'm like, oh, what is this? And I pull it out. It was a hand warmer. I'm like, oh, I should open this for Saban because he's obviously here. So I pass it down. Can't feel anything. So I go back in. I feel another. I'm like, oh, here we go. I open this one. I give it to AJ, and AJ goes, where the fuck are you getting all these? And I pull out one more. Another one. It was that saved us. I think that warm thing saved me for the last hour or so.
That was the coldest I seen you look.
Dude, I was.
It's hands and feet. It's when you're standing still. Like when you're standing still somewhere. That's the toughest thing. Yeah.
I run hot. I run hot. But yeah, we got.
You guys were getting rained on the whole first hour.
So because we're outside of the
Ryan Day got soaked. Ryan Day got drenched in his nice, sweet, nice outfit he was wearing.
Yeah, that's the coldest I've been on camera for sure.
Colder than draft night.
Draft night was so cold.
Draft night
the last hour in Detroit. Where Bill just had snot running down his face.
It was so cold.
Yeah. The heaters weren't working.
Yeah.
Yes, Friday by far.
Really?
Wet.
Yeah, that's the worst type of cold.
Yeah.
Wet, windy, cold. It was all of them.
Yeah, I didn't even think back to that draft night. But now that I'm thinking, that was cold as shit.
Because it started to drag, too. It's like they're taking 10 minutes on all the picks. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. It is so cold.
The R, honor, defend. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, that was on your shirt.
What does it mean, though? Can you explain your Ohio State?
It's part of the fight song. That when you run out of the tunnel, they play the fight song. I'm not singing the fight song for you.
Come on.
I started to tell you the song that the team sings in the locker room after the game, and Carmen, Ohio, which they put their arms around each other and do all that. But that's much too slow to do in a program.
Much too slow. He was producing. He said, "You don't want to know this one.
Need some more BPMs in there. You're gonna lose people.
No juice. Nobody's gonna sing with you. Just do the OH thing. You'll be good." Sean Perkins, legend. He's a legend. Well, I appreciate him. He was the one, I was standing behind the Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace, field goal unit, which is the best in the country.
It is.
No questions asked. Most toit net behind the field goal in the horseshoe. Guaranteed. They have a full team. So I guess the way the story was told to me last year, if I recall, and if somebody knows this better than me, please say it. Safe Flight put the sponsor on the net. You know, normally it's good hands with Allstate. Safe Flight, though, founded, I believe, out of Columbus, wanted to be on the net, right? Safe Flight, they wanted to get on there. So they put it on. The net, the first couple games or year was shit. The net was like droopy. And the Safe Flight
Couldn't see it.
It was like a bad-looking net. So the Safe Flight, I guess, CEO, I think, said, like, who's at the games, goes to every single game, diehard Buckeyes, like, I don't like the way that looks. So they offer up to have their employees run the net. And they have gloves, they have this jacket, they have this entire...
Great jacket,
It's great.
jacket.
It is a great
we
jacket.
got one here.
Yeah, it's like triple layered. It's like the nicest jacket of all time.
Super nice.
Needed
Wear
it
sometime.
Friday. That's what I exactly should have wore. And they're like the most... They practice. It's like a full-on thing. And they're all employees at Safe Flight or whatever. It's like amazing. So I got to see them do their thing again. That was cool. The pregame flag with the girl that swings on the thing and then comes running in. Have you seen any of this?
When you mean when they raise the flag?
Yeah, and then
it's amazing. The military people come and they run and swing down the whole ramp.
Yeah, she jumps off of. I think she like jumped off of a part of the stadium and like
It's amazing.
swung on the rope that they pulled the flag with, and then they lock it in. And this whole thing, it was
sweet.
There's a lot of shit happening. It was wild. I'm like, holy hell! And then 3 and out for Ohio State, and it's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, is it about to take place? And then I go to Sean. I go, where are we all able to go? Sean goes, you can go wherever the hell you want, man. And I'm like, thank you, Sean. You're a nice guy. Had 2 Ohio State troopers walking with me, 2 great dudes. And then I stop and start watching the game. And I think the troopers just kind of drifted back or whatever. All of a sudden, Red Jacket comes over to me, Gumpy, and Tom Rinaldi. And they go, you got a credential to be standing here? Tom Rinaldi goes, I don't. And Fox security guy's right behind him goes, he's good. The guy goes, you got a credential? I go, no. And I do the whole somebody
around here.
Please. Somebody somewhere. There was nobody nowhere for me to. So this guy, I walk like 5 yards this way to just kind of like maybe I just move from this guy. This guy falling.
He's on you.
Tracking.
Falling. Then I turned back around and Gumpy's still standing where we were. He had both his feet planted. He was kind of watching it all. So I kind of distracted this guy away from Gumps. Gumps wasn't going to have to answer any questions, even though I think he did have a credential because of from the truck he was in. So I thought we were good. I come back, this guy's still waiting on me. Just all right. I'm like, all right, fuck this. This is a sign. I'm going to get out of here. So then as I start to walk away, those 2 Ohio State troopers come back. They're walking next to me. I'm like,
where the fuck were you?
I didn't know what happened. I think those guys were like, I think it was literally within like a 35-second period. This Red Jacket just,
need to see a credential.
Where's
now.
it at? Go on and get.
The sheriff up top, when we were up top waiting for Brosio to pick us up, he said they've had problems with the red coats as well.
So I think there's a lot of good red coats. And by good, I mean like super nice to me. And I didn't have a credential, so fucking do your job. I appreciate you doing your job, which is why I was like, all right, I'm going to get out of here. I don't need to be putting anybody in these situations. But, man, those positions in a lot of places, like at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, they're the yellow jackets. They got yellow jackets on. They're tough.
Oh, yeah.
But, hey, doing their job.
That's right.
Always.
We appreciate them doing their job. The red jacket, that was the only – because there was a lot of, like – I feel like you have that job for a long time there in Ohio State.
I talked to people that are like, I've been – like when I was playing there, I still see them, and they're still Red Jackets. They've been doing it forever.
Yeah, a lot of pride. So no disrespect from me. I viewed it as a sign from the universe for me to get
I'm sure
home.
you could have stayed. I'm sure you could have stuck around.
I certainly could have if I wanted to with this guy, which I did not want to.
You know who I am?
Yeah, exactly.
I was just on TV.
I should have had a fucking credential. I agree. I agree completely. That's 100% on me. So we just went about our way. We watched the Indiana Hoosiers score, and then we were able to exit out there. But I was talking to Sean Perkins about this, and I think you said that Signetti talked about it, the how loud it was. You're standing in there. It is audibly different than it is loud. That place is built to be loud. It's like this. They're on top of each other. And then that shit at the end kind of blocks it in. It was very, very, very loud in there. And we've got to stay for a few different games and get to experience it. That was, I think, the loudest that I've heard. And that's at noon. I couldn't even imagine
Than Penn State?
what it would be at. Yeah, I think so. Just because the way it was built. Like, the way it's built is a big deal with the state. Like, Michigan is like...
Yeah,
Michigan goes out, it's dug down into the ground. So from the outside, it doesn't look that tall. Like Ohio State's like ground level, boom, straight up.
It's like Virginia Tech, same way. Virginia Tech is built like this.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very loud. Seattle, the Seahawks Stadium,
Yep.
it is built like this. So it's very loud. Ohio State is it was loud. I was very impressed that it was noon, gloomy, cold as shit. Indiana, and they showed up, man. Indiana was there too. There were some Hoover fans that made the trip.
Solid.
That was a good morning.
Good start.
All right, let's go back some more overreaction, shall we? This is from Stephanie Breyer. Stephanie Breyer says, hashtag I don't want to overreact, but grease the polls, ready the poop. MVP Saquon Barkley is shattering records on the road to an Eagles Super Bowl victory. Sirianni is the best coach we've ever had, and it can't be said enough. Thank you, Giants. Thank you, Giants. Now, granted, the Giants we've seen multiple times now on Hard Knocks, and we're going to remind everybody multiple times because we didn't think we'd ever have access to those types of conversations. And then for that conversation to backfire as heavily as it has, I'm sure Joe Shane is wondering why the hell their team ever signed up for that. But yes, Saquon Barkley going to Philadelphia Eagles, I think has immediately put them, they should be feeling that way. And Sirianni's actually getting some respect and credit around the league right now. How do you feel about the Eagles and Stephanie Breyer's feelings?
I mean, I love what the Eagles are doing. Honestly, I love watching their offensive line play, how they get downfield and are just mauling people. And obviously Saquon, like, I don't know. I don't remember. And there's been unbelievable running backs all the time, but what Saquon does every time he touches the ball, how many times have I said it? It feels like Saquon expects to score every time he touches it, but then he always comes out with something different, some kind of stiff arm where he's tossing dudes or jumping over people backwards. Like, he always comes up with something new that we haven't really seen before.
I'm trying to see if Hembo had sent me any more Saquon stats, because he sent over a bunch of them. Yeah. It's just like...
The only thing with him has ever been health.
Yeah.
Could he stay healthy? It was a reason why he go, number 2 in the draft. Could have been a number 1 pick, but he's so ridiculous, can be that big play at any given moment. And not only that, like, the person he is. Like, we saw the conversation that Sirianni had with him a few weeks ago. It was like, hey, you're a couple carries away from whatever state. He was like, nah, I'd rather let the young boys eat.
Oh, yeah.
A few weeks later, he goes out and runs for 255. So, like, you feel like it's one of those guys where it's like, you want good things to come for him. I'm sure he's great in that locker room, great in the community out there. So I love this piece. This is the piece I think can put these guys over the top.
He's so twitchy.
Yeah.
For how big and strong he is, he's so twitchy. It's like, and he has a lot of Tyreek to the way like he runs there. Now, with how large he is, it doesn't make sense, but he'll hit too.
I mean, he returned kicks in college.
He's special, man. He is, and once again, I can't reiterate this enough. I don't know if I expected this out of Saquon ever again after how everything in the Giants went. And after hearing how he was being talked about by the Giants, I didn't follow the Giants close enough, but watching that Hard Knocks, I'm like, so Saquon Crop, like, why is this the way? $7 million? You think maybe we don't want to disrespect is what he said?
Yeah.
It's like, what he's getting paid right now is fucking disrespectful to Saquon Barkley. It's like crazy to think that I didn't think or know that this was still possible, because you've seen it in moments with the Giants. Like, they'd have a little run, Saquon would go crazy, then he would get injured, then he'd be back, they wouldn't have an offensive line, he'd be tackled for a loss, he'd get dinged up again, here we go. Is Saquon ever going to be... And then now it's like must-watch television, Saquon Barkley. And he's only getting better, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like he saved hits being with the Giants, because, whenever he was injured, he was out, but they weren't playing a lot of postseason. Like, he still has a lot to prove. He has a massive chip on his shoulder, and everything's still in front of him legacy-wise. That's a dangerous person, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone thought, like, hey, if he can stay healthy, he's obviously going to be very dynamic, but, like, he's probably going to rush for 2,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if anyone expected that. Like, he's putting, I mean, I think he needs like 600 some yards over the course of the rest of the season. Like, you wake up every Sunday expect, like, okay, Saquon's going to go for 100 yards and at least a touchdown, and then there's the chance that he goes for 200 and 2 touchdowns.
And the Eagles aren't the only ones saying thank you to the Giants. Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, same deal. I mean, he has completely changed the Packers' defense.
He's going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Saquon might be Offensive Player of the Year, and they were both Giants last year. This is like when the Washington... when Shanahan was the coach.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, way back.
Joe Gibbs.
The Washington.
Kirk Cousins got drafted.
The Hogs. The Hog Mollies.
I don't think that was their name.
Well, then didn't they dressed up as hogs?
Oh yeah, the Hogettes. The Hogs. The fans.
Hog something.
I'm talking
Hog
about
Mollies,
the
a kid show.
team name. I don't remember.
When?
Like 2012.
Before the Commanders? Football team.
Before football.
Oh, Redskins.
Jeez
That
Louise.
was it.
That was the name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
People are starting to toss it around all willy-nilly. Just like
You're allowed to if you're.
Well, back when they were the Redskins, it's like that.
They also showing a lot of it.
Yeah.
It used to be like, let's blur the helmet, let's do the entire thing. Now it's like,
fuck it.
Nah, it was.
Yeah.
That is the name of the team. But anyways, whenever they were that particular team name, which I do think is starting to.
Yeah.
People who hate it are going to hate it.
Chuck got the grassroots movement going.
Yeah, he started.
Chuck was certainly thrown into the middle of it, and that's how I really knew how powerful the group behind it is. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's go along for this ride here. Chuck said it, and then I get in there and I start reading it. It's like, feels like a lot of people are like, Commander?
Yeah, they kind of love it.
It does feel like that. But remember that coaching staff that they had, where everybody's like a head coach and is a great head coach and all that. They were all there, and they could never find a good head coach somehow, but they were all there. It's like if the Giants had the offensive player of the year and the defensive player of the year, of last season, and they go on to do this, and especially with everything we heard in the Hard Knocks offseason, it's like that Joe Shane seed has to be incredibly hot. I mean, you would just think they would have to be, and that's just football. And Joe Shane knows it too. Every pick that Xavier, another one. This guy's leading the league.
Come on,
Christ!
I didn't think that was much of a conversation at all on Hard Knocks. That was just like, he's going to reset the market. Say that we're not going to pay.
Yeah, Bruce said they didn't even offer him.
Yeah, like if you don't get that quarterback right, like
no offer for Xavier McKinney. $17 million. Didn't even think about it. He did break his hand on an ATV during a bye week, so I think that is why Joe Shane was like, "Screw this guy."
The guy was farming. What do you want from him?
But I mean,
come on.
This guy was working.
Still ridiculous.
The guy was working to get better during the off season. Probably chopping down trees.
Yeah.
Sawing wood.
Exactly.
That's why you're on an ATV out there. Hold that against the guy. He works too hard.
Okay.
Dumpster fire.
Dragging a deer out of the woods.
During the bye week, he's supposed to be on a beach. Nah, instead, he's on ATV out in the woods getting shit done.
That's right.
It's hold it against him. Now he might win Defensive Player of the Year. Loose sleeves.
so good.
That's New York.
Does have.
Yeah, I do like it. I like his look.
Loose sleeves.
Good swag.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that only look good if you ball.
True.
Like if he stunk.
Yep.
He's
Very true.
getting balls, missing tackles. Like sky's deal.
Yeah, I think you got to be Defensive Player of the Year conversation.
Yeah.
I 1 year did that. Loose sleeves.
I remember seeing it with the
And a
throwback.
chin strap here, too.
Yep.
Chin strap here.
Really?
Yeah, I look like an asshole, but on purpose.
Had a good year.
That was by design in the entire thing. All right, let's go to another overreaction, shall we? This is, Jesus.
Yeah, it was a good one, though.
All right, this is from Justin Coyle. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but someone call the Carmel Police Department to place Jim Irsay under an emergency detention and then have his daughters put down their headsets and sell the team since he won't. Ballard is a sweet boy with great hair, but he's an awful culture setter and general manager who needs to be making decisions at great clips and not the Colts organization. Hang the Benner. Another top 10 draft pick. Speaking of kicking the stigma, let's kick the stigma that this Colts team is close to contending. The only thing they are contending for is the most embarrassing team in the league. This team stinks. Jeez Louise.
Wow.
Justin.
Happy.
That's pretty good.
Justin's not happy.
No, he's not.
Justin probably felt that way too because of the situation that is maybe brewing between me and current players of the team. I would like to say, I hope they win. That is what I would like to say.
Sure.
With that being said, anytime they played a good team, they have not. So anytime I talk about them potentially going on a run, it is hard because if you go on a run, the teams that you're going to run into have all just beat you pretty handily. It's hard to keep that optimism.
Yeah.
Now, Anthony Richardson's still basically a rookie. Basically.
Keep saying it.
That's what a lot of people are saying, too. How long are we saying this guy's the youngest guy in the league?
Till next year.
We see a lot of players that are young that come in the league and play well. And granted, yesterday was not on him. Had a couple misses, got to do his thing. But then you talk about the rest of the team. It's like having won the AFC South at 10 years, but still everything is in front of them. It's hard to hear everything coming out of that building.
Yeah.
And then when they put my face as a thumbnail out of that building, it's hard for me not to be like, are these dudes fucking serious here? Like, whenever they think about everything that has happened over there and what has been accomplished and everything. So, I got a little worked up about it.
Sure.
Of course.
And I named the stadium they play in. Okay? Sure. For the shoe, that sounds pretty similar to a lot of things. Part of the everyday, every game atmosphere. Represent the Colts on a microphone on a regular basis. Speaking from Indianapolis, whenever, I love this place, I've been asked to leave, choose to stay here. So whenever I speak about, the NFL and the Colts, I think a lot of people say, like, okay, this guy's representing the Colts. I think that is a bad thing. So going forward, that will not be the case. Because I think that could potentially where there becomes a little bit of problems. Because whenever I say good things about him, which
they're very optimistic,
has been for like 4 or 5 years, I don't hear anything from anybody in there. Then if I start pointing out some terrible things that bad football teams have that they're doing, now all of a sudden I'm an enemy of the entire thing. So I think we just need to separate, like, that I represent them. I do not. I was a season ticket holder for them. I was lucky enough to play for them. I've watched this team more than probably anybody else that's been in speaking into a microphone over the last 5 years or so. But I do not speak for them, which is, I think, where there becomes a problem, because then they're like, what team are you on? And it's like, what team am I on? I'd like us to fucking win a game. Yeah. That's what I would like us to do. But us is them. They are the Colts, and I hope they do win. But unlike old buddy there, I don't think they need to just fire everybody.
Yeah, he's done.
Justin said take them all out. Sell the team.
You got to figure that shit out, because
that was the crowd.
Plenty of fire.
A lot of Lions, brother.
It was a home game for the
last
Lions.
night.
But are the Colts fans fed up? I used to grow up going to Bengals games, and those fans would yell out, "Man, we want an aquarium!" Like they want to turn the stadium into an aquarium. Like they would be really pissed off verbally every game.
Yeah, here's what Jared Goff had to say about the atmosphere in the stadium yesterday. This is, I think a good indictment of how it felt in there.
Yeah, it's pretty dang cool on the road for regardless of them doing my chant or anything. Like it's awesome to have a fan base that travels and makes a difference on the road. And I think I was thinking about this recently. Like, our fans don't just go to the game. Like, they go to the game to affect the game, and certainly do that at home. And then even today on the road, and I go back to Houston, in Arizona, like they show up to change the game, to affect the game, and they take it on themselves.
They did.
We love it. We love it. But yeah, the love they show me and the love they show our team is something I'll never take for granted.
There was times yesterday in the first quarter when I'd be back in the back end of said suite, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Sure.
In the back end of that suite, watching TVs. Shout out for having the TVs in there. It's awesome. And I'd hear a loud pop, and I had no idea who it was for. Like that.
It's nuts.
It was like a loud pop, and then I would turn, like something big happened. It was a play for the Lions.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that sounded like a home. But I do think when people come in there, because of how great our stadium is and how Hoosier hospitable people are,
sure,
they do feel like they're at home.
Yeah.
So, like the Lions fans,
oh yeah,
they were very loud very early.
Every single third down, the Lions fans were louder than when the Colts had a third down, no matter what.
Jared Goff chants early, loud.
Yep.
You're talking about even like warm-ups, like when the other team jogs on the field, how it's normally boos?
Yeah.
No, sir.
It was like
roar.
It was a roar. Yeah, it was a Lions roar, if you will.
Even all weekend in the city, Lions fans were everywhere. It was absolutely packed.
How about it, though? Like, that's the Lions now.
We've been waiting so long for this. I mean, it's incredible. The Houston
That's
game,
the Lions now.
I fucking hate it. All right, as a Colts guy, I fucking it's great. When it happened, what? Steelers,
Bills,
Browns.
I'm saying I remember as a player, like Steelers, Green Bay.
Yes.
But I didn't feel like it was like a road game, and like when you talking to Mike, like you gonna call it. I'm gonna call it how I see it. Regardless if it's a tap out or a guy not playing well, and then when people come out and say what's going on in the buildings, like what the fuck else are you supposed to do? You're not gonna sugarcoat it, especially if you played for the team. I know 30, 40 people still in the building from the time that I was there, that were there before us. And I played there for 6 years. You guys went to a Super Bowl. You won one before I got there. So not even getting to a Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, you feel like, damn, we won some divisions. But it's like, fuck, we didn't accomplish what we should have accomplished with having a quarterback or having a team. So, like, when you're looking at the team and you're looking at people like Zaire and EJ who like, damn, those are good players. That's why you want the quarterback in there to play. And you're going to go through shit. You're going to be a young player. You're going to get benched. You're going to be, regardless of what position you play, and hopefully you get back in there and turn shit around. I know that was, my message, my point. And once again, you watch a game, you watch Sundays, you see what you see, you hear what you hear, you're going to talk about it into a mic. And whatever it is, that's what it is.
And look what happened with Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Down in Carolina, similar situation, and they're on the other side of it doing great things. And Zaire, I guess, spoke about it today in his press conference and said something about there's no feud. We all want the same things. And it's like, I hope so. Go get it. Go look out there.
And if you don't talk about them, we can just send them to what they will be, which is just pick them between 14 and 25 for the next 8 years.
14.
Whoa.
That's a good point. 10 and 20.
I like that.
One of those two.
20, you moved that thing to 20. I like that. Yeah.
24. Because, for so many of these teams, it's like, absolutely. Like, you're not going to win anything. And this is coming from a Patriots fan who's looking at it from a larger view, maybe. Like, there are teams that are so far ahead of certain teams where some teams who have paid a bunch of guys, shouldn't be as far behind as some of the other teams are.
Colts. So the problem with the Colts are always going to be whatever the team is going to be compared to the Peyton era.
Yeah,
that is how it is.
As it should. Yeah.
These are the people that. This is how the Colts fans became fans. That is how they became NFL fans. Before that, the Colts were here for sure, but they weren't. Then Peyton came to town. Now there's a fucking statue of the guy. Mm-hmm. It's bigger than any other statue in the city because they made the Colts team and fan base relevant in the NFL and took a lot of pride in that. And there's a lot of very proud football fans here. Now, impossible to have the generational fan base that other places have because once again in 87 this team moved here from Baltimore, so it's not like one of the original football teams, but there's a lot of pride for the Colts in this city. And it's like whenever you hear all the shit that's going on, it's like that ain't what I'm a fan of, so I hope they're able to hey, you boys better figure it out. Putting my face on that thumbnail was certainly a decision, though. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, a lot of people were talking as if I was the only one.
Yeah.
As if I was the only person,
Actually, the only guys you talk good about
were those two guys.
Yeah.
And Kenny. I love Kenny. DeForest Buckner. I love DeForest Buckner. I love what's going on in their locker room. Okay, which once again, I don't think the cat. Every time I say that's your locker room, I don't think casual fans get what I'm saying. I don't think, because I was a punter, yes, very, very low on the totem pole. But the locker room is the team, and the team polices the locker room, So that's whenever that shit's happening on your team, that's your locker room. That is, why? That's not their fault. That's who
it is.
Yeah, actually, kind of. That is their locker room. So that's the biggest issue that I have with this particular team is your locker room has created a lot of shit that was never in that building before. Now, granted, didn't win enough Super Bowls, didn't win all that stuff, but all the other things that allegedly were coming out of there, I don't know how that got started. Just be the normal thing in there because same equipment managers, same athletic trainers, same people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. Those people have won. Those people, I don't think they're showing up late. I don't think they're deciding not to do stuff. I don't think they're doing that. So what's the difference thing here? It's a pretty easy equation whenever you start doing that. But good luck to the Colts. Good luck to the Colts.
Good luck. We got him.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is from Rich B at Hail to the Commanders, Rich B. Hail to the Commanders, Rich B. Hashtag I don't overreact. But the Commanders are dead. Holy shit, I didn't thought we were hailing to them. How do you lose to an off-brand red rifle? Jaden Daniels, Offensive Rookie of the Year? Done. Cliff Kingsbury getting head coaching jobs? Done. The spirit of Dan Snyder will curse this team for the rest of my life. There is that fear from these Washington fans. Yeah, of course it's going too good. Too good, too soon. It was all fake. This is all bullshit. We're going to go back to who we are. I refuse to believe that, AJ. I think this Commanders team is still going to be good. And the Dallas Cowboys, if you hear Micah Parsons say, that was just a reminder that we're a good football team too. Everybody forgot about it. A couple things had to go their way. Obviously, big kickoff return in the fourth quarter, a bunch of missed kicks. There's a whole conversation there. But I'm not out on the Commanders yet. Should Rich B be out on the Commanders already?
No, especially if he was in on them early this season. You got to stick with it. We know it's a roller coaster of a season, but do people get worried because of what happened to the Eagles last year? That hot start with 10-0, 10-1 or whatever, and then you just fall apart? Does that make people worry when their team is good early?
Maybe, but I think the Commanders just worried because We're the fucking
They're who they are.
Yeah. I don't think they're thinking about anybody else. I think their fans are like, yup, it was only a matter of time before it started happening again, I think, is how they
Well, that and just as someone who roots for the Steelers and this week lost to a 2-win team, just like the Commanders lost to a 3-win team, it just, doesn't give you the best feeling about your team, in the immediate future. But then I saw what happened yesterday to the Texans and the Commanders, and even the Chiefs had to struggle a little bit. I was like, okay, it's just one game. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's hard to win.
Especially in the division.
It's hard to win.
the
Panthers
NFL.
wasn't division, but you guys, like this game, like
Texans.
Those division, Texans, Titans game,
Division
that's
games,
division.
yeah.
But like, if you're a Commanders fan, especially if you've been a fan of when they were all the different team names, you kind of seen it before.
Whoa.
You saw it with
you're talking about the football team.
when RG3 was the rookie of the year pretty much early on, with the Redskins. So when he was playing, he was actually at the game yesterday. So when you see that. You see Jaden, he's still dynamic. Rookie year, you got a whole new ownership group, new GM, new head coach. Should definitely still be.
What are we supposed to say, though, about that?
If you're talking about the team at that time.
And a historical reference.
Yeah, we would like to get it right.
That's not everything. You don't just say every word from every year about everything. But if you talk about football, sports team name.
Sports team.
That's what
All right, let's go to the next overreaction. Don't lose hope yet. We don't know. At JTB1012, hashtag I don't want to overreact, but oh no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
CJ fraud is upon us.
Oh no,
motherfucker almost pulled off the Dan Orlovsky to lose the game. Oh yeah, and Bobby Slowick, he sucks. Interior offensive line, they suck. D'Amico Ryan, kind of sucks.
Whoa.
Still like D'Amico, but
He's not there yet, but everybody else,
Yep.
I can do without, says JTB. CJ Fraud instead of CJ Stroud. Was there a lot of people saying that?
There's a decent amount of people, but I'd say more so than Bobby Slowick is basically saying like, hey, everyone kissed this guy's ass last year and talked about how good he was. This guy's ruining CJ Stroud's career.
I did see that Dan Orlovsky was trending yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And I did see he did a type
Again.
response.
Yeah, thank God.
Whenever CJ Stroud in the fourth quarter, 1:15 left, tries to get around, gets sacked out of bounds. He ran out of bounds for a safety. Pressure was on him, though, trying to make a play. 3rd and 17.
There's a guy on him.
I mean, what are we doing?
It's nowhere near the same as Dan Orlovsky.
I've been seeing.
Just would like that to be said. But every once in a while, when you're trying to make a play, you're going to get caught up. You're going to get lost. Just like Dan Orlovsky.
That's right.
Now, Jared Allen was potentially the one that Dan Orlovsky heard and got caught up in. Oh, shit. Real cowboy.
Yeah.
There's a real rancher here. Look at that mullet. I can feel it.
Ron
Yeah.
Asher.
He was. Yeah.
Lasso.
He was.
Yep.
And Dan says, shit. And he runs out of bounds like a doofus for 15 yards.
Yes.
But he didn't. That's not his fault.
No.
He got caught up in it.
Sure.
CJ got caught up in it, too. That's all that happened.
Yeah, I love CJ. Did he get caught up in it, or did he just run into that guy?
Well, there wasn't any room, you see.
Yeah,
It bottomed him
but
up.
there
Yeah,
wasn't
it
really
was a good
anyone
rush.
in his face.
I feel like
either.
we've been seeing more of this.
What? Lack of...
No, just running out of like
Jimmy G did it?
G, I saw it earlier this year too. I don't know what it
Where
is,
is
but
Jimmy G?
but yeah, we're at the point where and
He's in
CJ
LA.
Stroud's still young. I think still will have a
Yeah.
great career, but he's kind of getting into that territory in the season at least, where kind of like what you see in the NBA, where you have a bad game, they start putting out those lookalike pictures. And
I saw that 50-year-old man that looks like him.
So,
That guy does look like him.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
I've been seeing Jaden Daniels, fake
Yeah.
Jaden breakdance to get on my timeline.
No,
so
that guy's
that's just
good.
part of it.
Yeah.
When
It's a sophomore slump. That
you're in
happens.
the limelight, for sure.
Yeah, and also, Houston Texans still in the lead in the AFC South.
Yeah. It also did not help that him and Micah were just on every show imaginable this summer.
Well, they did have their own show in which they traveled around.
Sure.
Good show.
I went to Japan. I saw them with some sumo wrestlers.
Yes, they were.
People just don't love when you do that and lose. If you win, it's fine.
I knew immediately, as soon as I started my social media shit, I was 3 shanks away from getting fired. Like, that's just how it is. If you're going to draw extra attention to yourself, you're going to have to be good. Because if you're not good, you're a distraction, not only to the team, but to yourself, and you're not focused fully on ball. That's just a matter of fact and how it's going to be. So you got to hope that your team does well, especially if you're going to do all the other shit.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing all the other shit and your team's not good, that's a decision you're making. You're setting yourself up to get
Killed.
Yeah.
And you should always be preparing for what your next job is going to be, thinking about it, But if you're enacting on it while doing this particular job, it's hard for people to feel bad for you because they think you got 1 foot out, 1 foot in. And if you're going to be in, we need 2 feet in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of how it goes, which is why you need to play well if you're going to be doing extracurricular shit. And I know I am potentially a person that did that. And now one of the main reasons why I retired is because I wanted to pay more attention to shit that wasn't punting balls on 4th downs whenever the offense failed. And there's only 32 of those jobs. You have to be respectful of said job that like played a part of it, just like everything else. You know, if you're playing good, nobody cares. If you guys stink, everybody cares. That is just that's football, baby. That is literally football. CJ Stroud was the greatest teammate, greatest quarterback, greatest football player there could possibly be. Now they're calling him CJ Fraud.
Yeah, it's messed up.
I mean, that quick.
Happens quick.
That's great. Austin Siebert, the kicker for the Commanders. I believe it was September 15th. He was signed to the Commanders. He had 7 field goals to win them a game against the Giants, I think. They carried him off the field. On his shoulders. This guy is our hero. Yesterday, missed 2 extra points, gets one blocked, has a kickoff to the house on him. Get this guy the fuck out of our country.
I mean, Fairbairn in Houston.
Kaimi, same conversation.
Same thing.
Fourth quarter, this guy's made every single kick seemingly for him. Fourth quarter, has a chance to tie it up. Miss. Anybody can miss.
Very close.
That's the NFL, baby.
Tough.
Good luck to all you guys. Tough job.
It is.
Tough job.
Prove it every week.
Great game. Tough job.
That's
Let's go to the next one, shall we? This is the last one here from Zach at Hangdang 58. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but the Cowboys could fuck up a wet dream. This team can't even lose right. We should be tanking. We will suck for years to come. I'll have nightmares of that fat sack of subs, Big Mike on the sidelines for the rest of my life.
Sack of subs.
They won.
They just won a game.
He's not happy.
It won.
Hang Dang.
Hugging the quarterback.
Hang Dang says, what are we doing? Think about how happy that Cowboys team was.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Flying home from that game last night. Micah Parsons was talking. We just remind everybody who we are. You know, just a quick little reminder. This is who we can be whenever we piece it together. We're not that far away. Having a good time, happy times, music playing. Big Mike probably coming in.
Yep.
You know,
where are my watermelons?
Exactly. He's doing his dance, and then you got the fans going, "These motherfuckers." When we want you to win, you can't, and then when we need you to lose, you fucking win. What are you doing? I love that for the Cowboys. But I don't think anything changes after this year, no matter what happens.
No.
I don't think you're going to see, in your words, not ours, that big fat sack of subs on your sidelines going forward.
No.
And that's a bummer. I'm bummed out about that, AJ. What do you think Big Mike does next if he was to not get re-signed as the coach for the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't know. I mean, coach is coach. I think Big Mike is like the rest of them. Like, he wants to coach. So I don't know what that means or where that would be, but yeah, I think he wants to coach.
I heard he's going to be the head coach at Greenfield and then be head chef at Dino's on the weekend.
Oh yeah, he's going to stay at that Hampton Inn. They're going to give him the whole top floor.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty nice.
Hey, I hope he does. If he's not coaching the Cowboys next year, I hope he takes a year to do like media and he does games or he does like some kind of forms of media because he would be amazing. Like if he felt comfortable speaking, I think he would do awesome.
Big Mike, we would like to let you know we have a spot for you weekly on this particular program. If you are not coaching anywhere next year, we'd be honored.
It'd be tough to get him out of that barn that Tom Pelissero visited him in.
His basement.
Yeah.
It was his basement. I don't think he's going to make a full Fugazi movie again.
No, doesn't have to do that.
I was watching Phil.
No, you already got the gig.
I didn't watch every play.
I told Big Jerry I watch every play. That's because I wanted a job. Now, I will go back and watch every play now that I have the job, and I'll be able to answer your question in about a month or two.
Should have known then. Like, man, Jerry's one gullible son of a bitch, huh? Just bought that hook, line, and sinker. God damn, Mike, sounds good. 7 years? 8 years? What do you want?
This guy watched every fucking play? Yeah. I didn't even watch every play. I was at the game. Remember, I fell asleep. What a legend. All right, that's hashtag I don't overreact, but that was fun, Decky. All right, so AJ's on the Chargers tonight. I'm on the Ravens. I love the Chargers.
Sure. I like both these teams for real. Absolutely. I think the Ravens were my, I don't know if they were my Super Bowl pick or not, whenever we made those.
Hey.
Right there.
To be clear and transparent, I'm picking the Ravens strictly because I am one behind AJ in our pick segment on week 12. And I've only lost to this guy one time this year.
Wait, was that week 1? When was that?
Yeah, it was week 1, I believe.
You were seeing it early, AJ.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden I got lost.
Coming back. It's coming back.
All right. You're on Chargers.
Yep. On the Chargers. Hold up.
Universe ball. This is for you.
It's for me?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Drain it.
You go her, bro.
Ooh, good
All right,
throw.
I tried.
Yeah, right.
I actually tried.
Close game.
I wanted to know. This could be a close game.
game.
All right.
Nice throw.
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change your life. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.